Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm J.C. Myers. We're live here at FloridaTechSports.com along the SSC Digital Network. We're coming on a little bit early because we got two special seniors that we're going to recognize. This is the last home series of the year, Ellen Niles and Mandy Schwartz. So the players are gathering on the field, the players' families, and Pete the Panther looks like he's going to pitch, but Pete the Panther's actually here. Wish Pete would come out to more softball games. He's kind of making his debut here. So we'll be underway in just a few minutes. But, again, Ellen Niles and Mandy Schwartz, two key players the last 4 years of this program, are going to bid us adieu. This will be their final regular season home game. And here we are about to get started.
Senior is number 27, Ella Niles.
All right, Ella Niles from Hesperia, California. And Val Silvestrini loves those California girls. She's had a number of them over the past 10 years. So right now, 274 batting average, 141 hits, 112 runs scored, 26 RBIs, and 55 walks. Also number 4 on the all-time list in steals. So she's done a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and really, one of the best defensive center fielders in the conference. She can cover the area like no other.
Her sophomore season was especially impressive, earning SSC All-Defensive Team honors as one of the only two players without an
So she's got her mother, Layla, father, Dave, sister, Paisley, and we don't want to forget about the dog, Yoda. So Yoda coming on the field. I assume he's probably aware of what's happening, but he's just enjoying being in the sunlight there. And like most of these players, really all the players, very good academically. Outstanding student, Florida Tech Distinguished, an Outstanding Student Award. Bachelor's going to be in Business Administration. And she's already taken a position in Game Changers Business Development Department in New York. So she's going up to the Big Apple. I don't know if it's New York City, but it just says New York. So Ella will unfortunately be moving, pretty far away from us. Hopefully she comes back for Alumni Day. So Ella with a nice career. Again, 252 batting average this year. I mean, she had a really good year last year, 302. Not as many stolen bases as we would have hoped. Oh, great. All right, thanks. All right, so Ella Niles. We're not in too much of a hurry here. Florida Tech only has two seniors, so the bulk of this team should be coming back next year.
Senior is number 33, Mandy Schwartz.
And here's Mandy Schwartz, the all-time home run leader for Florida Tech with 24. Broke Jennifer Dixon's record. It's probably been about a month and a half or so. So 260 average. So that'd be a 260 career average, currently batting 315. 132 hits in her career, 99 runs scored, 95 RBIs. She might crack the 100 RBI mark, today and going into next week against Barry. Had the grand salami against Indianapolis, currently at that time, the number 11 ranked team in the country. Also, all defensive team honors. That was in 2024. And very good in the classroom. Again, all these players are good in the classroom. Civil engineering. She's going to be moving to Raleigh, North Carolina, and be a drainage design engineer. Far above my capabilities. So, Mandy Schwartz. So Mandy's got her father, Stephen, brother, Mark, and sister, Nicole. And we don't have the name of the dog, unfortunately, but the dog is having a good time out there. And again, Pete the Panther making a special guest appearance. So they're going to line up for some photos, and we'll be just about done. Again, the bad news is Niles and Schwartz leave us, but the good news is they're the only two that do leave us. Everybody else should be back next year. I mean, Val Silvestrini said this is one of the youngest clubs she's had, and she's been out here 17 years. So this is a very young club that's only going to get better. You know, again, hopefully everybody comes back health-wise and academics-wise. So Tampa standing by very patiently.
To recognize Tampa senior number 19, Gwen McGinnis.
Well, you know what? Tampa is very young, too. They only have one senior. And that one senior, is somebody that Florida Tech would rather not see again, Gwen McGinnis, because she was outstanding last night. Hurled a 3-hit shutout in 7 innings, walked 1, struck out 7. Faced 24 batters, so just 3 above the minimum through 91 pitches. So she is a good one in a long line historically of very talented Tampa pitchers. I mean, I can name a few of them: Kayla Cox, Deanna Henriott, and a few others. so their pitching is always really good. And McGinnis, one of those in line. Holly Steff is going to start the first game today, and then McGinnis should be coming back for game number 2. So Florida Tech's going to have to try and solve her. I mean, she's had a wonderful year. So she is the only senior for Tampa. So Tampa's even a younger club than Florida Tech is. Pete the Panther, we'll keep it out here for a little bit, see what Pete the Panther does. He's just waiting on the pitcher's mound. I don't know if he's throwing out the first pitch, but he's just standing there, keeping an eye on the circle. Well, folks, I'll tell you, we're going to have another hot one today. I'd like to thank Mr. Torito for providing me with a portable umbrella, because it is hot out here. I mean, there are some white clouds overhead, but it's going to be another hot tamale as we are very close to wrapping up April. In fact, this will be the last Saturday in April. Flip the calendar to May next Friday. It looks like they're going to have some more pictures. So, again, you know, good luck to Mandy Schwartz and Ella Niles. I mean, I've been at her – how long have I been at her? 21 years. I mean, these softball players, they're good citizens. They're good students. They're pretty good softball players. And, you know, as any coach, you know, when they bring a player in, you know, don't embarrass the program. I don't think Val Silvestrini's had to worry about that. So now they're going to gather for a really, really big pitcher. And look who's in the middle there. Pete the Panther, wearing Casey Stengel's number 37. Both umpires are meandering to the visiting dugout. All right, so I'll tell you what, that will wrap it up. And I don't know, we're going to pause for about 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll be back for tonight's first pitch. Again, it's Florida Tech and Tampa, Sunshine State Conference doubleheader, 2 7-inning games. So we'll be back. Florida Tech softball is on the air. We got a hot, sunny afternoon for a Sunshine State Conference doubleheader as the Florida Tech Panthers again welcome in from Tampa, the University of Tampa Spartans. And a pleasant good afternoon, everyone. J.C. Miles with you on the Panther website, FloridaTechSports.com, along the SSC Digital Network. Again, Chloe Farello is out of the lineup. That means we're missing one of our starting pitchers and also our left fielder. So Kelsey Hahn is going to get the start in the circle for the Panthers. We'll talk more about her in just a few minutes. But quick recap of last night. It was a scoreless game for 4 innings, and then Tampa scored all the runs that they would need in the 5th inning, a 4-run fifth, and they went on to a 4-0 victory. So, Florida Tech held Tampa in control 6 of the 7 innings, but the 5th inning proved to be the eyesore, and Florida Tech not able to score themselves. Both teams only had 3 hits, so not much offense last night except for Tampa in the 5th inning. And Gwen McGinnis, who is probably going to pitch game number 2 and get another start, she was outstanding last night, out pitching Sammy Murphy. So Tampa with the win, 28-10 overall. They are 15-7 in the Sunshine State Conference. They're in 3rd place, breaking a tie with Florida Tech, so they lead the Panthers by 1 game. Florida Tech 29-14 and 1 tie and 15-9 in the conference. Let's take a look at the Tampa lineup under the direction of Leslie Cantor in her 32nd year at the helm for Tampa. Leading things off will be the 3rd baseman, Jenna Newpaver. Batting 2nd in right field is Cam Feast. Hitting 3rd, the catcher, Kenna Kreidler. Batting in the 4th position, the center fielder is Joey Trawick. Hitting 5th, the designated player, Kelsey Winters. Batting 6th at 2nd base is Hannah Yetter. Hahn with the pitch. It's in for a called strike. So we're starting a little bit later today. Again, we have the senior ceremony, so I got it at a 12:16 Eastern time start. Batting 7th will be the 1st baseman, Carly Stansberry. Hitting 8th in left field, Abby Johns. And batting 9th will be the shortstop, Kenzie Reynolds. Pitch on the way is hit off the glove of Hahn, and that's going to be an infield hit. Again, this Tampa team, much like Florida Tech, they have a lot of good speed, so on deflections like that, and with Newpaver being at the top of the lineup, you just knew she was going to beat that out, so infield hit for her. And the outfielder, Cam Feast. So Newpaver went 1 for 4 with a run scored, and Feast, well, it was feast or famine for her, and it was actually famine, 0 for 3. But overall has had a tremendous year. Shows bunt, draws the bat back, pitch it for a called strike, and it's 0-1. Home plate umpire is Analia Merizzi. On the bases, we got Jose Melicio. So same umpiring crew as last night. So Feast coming into last night batted .390, so her average actually dropped 14 points down to .376. That ball's fisted to the right side. Garuli, nice play, flipped to first, and just in time. So good range by Audrey as she prevented that from going in the right field and did the flip job like she was flipping to a running back. Just as good as the sacrifice, though, as Newpaver will take second base. Well, again, last night's game, runs were at a premium until the 5th inning. We'll have to see how this game unfolds. Here's Kenna Kreidler, the Tampa catcher. Kreidler 0 for 2 last night. So, again, both teams only had 3 hits. So, again, not much offense last night. What with the pitching of McGinnis for Tampa and Murphy for Florida Tech. Pitch on the way is in for a called strike, and it's 0-1. So I'm anticipating a rematch for Game 2, McGinnis against Murphy, a little bit later on. So Kreidler batting .315, has 3 home runs and 23 runs batted in. Again, Tampa's not a home run hitting club. They only hit 4 as a team, and Kreidler has 3 of them. The pitch is high for a ball that even the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Kreidler leads the team in several categories, doubles with 7, which she shares with Salisbury. She leads in RBIs 23. Total bases 53, walks 24. So having an outstanding year and really one of the few players back from last year's Tampa team. Pitch in for a ball, just missing inside. It's 2-1 on Kreidler. Again, Tampa's team last year went 48-12, and boy, they were nipping at the heels of a national championship, but ran into a very good Texas Tyler team, and Texas Tyler won the championship series 2-0 to win their second consecutive national championship. The pitch is high, and Honda's falling behind 3-1 on Kenna Kreidler. Again, last year 48-12, 23-7 in the conference. So they're not going to get up to 48 wins this year, but they could certainly get up to around 35 or so. And they would have to go undefeated in conference to equal their win total from last year in conference. There's a walk to Kreidler. She goes down to first base, so first walk allowed by Hahn, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Joey Trawick. Trawick just hitting .228, has 10 RBIs on the year. She is 13 for 57. And last night, she was 0 for 1, but she did have an RBI and a sacrifice fly, and she also walked twice. So didn't get a hit last night, but still got on base and had an RBI. Pitch on the way is a pop-up foul right side and out of play. So Tampa's a team doing pretty well. They're batting .279. Again, Trawick struggling at .228. So first and second, one out, top of the first inning, just underway from Nancy Botke Field. Another hot day with some white puffy clouds overhead. The pitch is high for a ball, knocked down by Rodell. Both runners thinking about advancing, but can't do it. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. So Newpaver is on second and Kreidler is on first. This team does not steal much. They're 43 of 51, so they haven't caught 8 times, but they only had 43 steals. There's a pop-up to left field. Nelson is there, makes the catch. Both runners are tagged. Runner to third and runner to second. So picking up was Newpaver, moving from second to third, and right behind her, Kreidler tagged up and moved up to second base. So that is out number 2, and the fly ball by Trawick to Nelson. That brings up the designated player, Kelsey Winters. So Tampa with an early scoring chance. Runners on second and third and 2 outs for Winters. Winters appeared as a pinch hitter last night. She went 0 for 1. She is also a pitcher. So they've got 5 pitchers listed on their roster. Pitch on the way is fouled straight back and out of play. I mean, mostly in relief as Winters when she pitches. Just 3 starts, but 9 appearances total. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. But again, I'm pretty sure Gwen McGinnis, unless she's really tired from last night, she shouldn't be. I mean, she threw 91 pitches, but in 7 innings, she should be good to go for game number 2 today. The pitch is in for a ball, very close. But called the ball by the home plate umpire, Analia Medizi, and it's, I think it's 2-1. Might be 1-1, but I think it's 2-1. Well, we got our scoreboard back after it went kaput for a couple of weeks. That was a bit of an ordeal. Pitch is inside. And I guess now it's 2-1. So again, second and third. Again, first base is open. You don't want to load the bases, though. On deck is Hannah Yetter, the second baseman. Outfield is straight away. Relatively normal depth. So it'll be a 2-1. That ball's fisted foul over to the right side, and it'll be a 2-2 count on Joey Trawick, or on Kelsey Winters, rather. Well, again, Leslie Cantor, the head coach of Tampa in her 32nd year, again, almost reached the pinnacle that a coach wants to reach as a college coach, winning a national championship. Again, national runner-up to Texas Tyler. She has 893 career wins. Ball fouled off again. Count remains 2-2 on Kelsey Winters. 15 NCAA tournament appearances for Kreider, so on the average, she makes it every other year. Not too bad. 8 Sunshine State Conference titles, including the last 4 in a row. Also 6-time Coach of the Year in the SSC, so she's definitely one of the longer-running coaches in the conference. The 2-2 is fisted foul again over the right side, so good battle here between Hahn and Winters. Winters just batting $130, just 3 for 23, has an RBI, also has a double. So really a big moment, particularly if runs are at a premium like they were last night. Hahn trying to get out of the jam. The pitch is fouled off again. Well, the next thing that might happen in softball and baseball is to put a cap on foul balls. If you hit more than 15, you're out. And hopefully that's not coming anytime soon. I mean, just let the game go. We're happy to be out here. Be a nice, long, hot afternoon, but we're ready for it. So another 2-2 by Hahn. And it's high. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Kelsey Hahn, 5-2 record, 2.45 ERA, 12 start, has 4 complete games, has 1 shutout, and has 1 save. The pitch is a ground ball foul down the left side. That's about 5 out of the last 6 being foul balls. Honda's allowed 50 hits in 60 innings. That's pretty good. 10 minus hits than innings pitched. Allowed 29 runs, 21 of the 29 earned. She's walked 31, struck out 54, so not quite a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, and opponents are batting .231 against her. There's a fly ball left. It's relatively deep. Nelson is back, and it's gone. Well, Tampa does not hit many home runs. They've hit an entirety of 4, and they already hit one here in the first inning, and that is the first home run for Winners. And just like that, just when Florida Tech thought they could get out of the inning, it is a 3-run shot by Winners, and it's a 3-0 lead here in the top of the first. So that ball was pretty much gone from the outset as Nelson went back, but it was just too far over the wall. So Florida Tech will have to try and come from behind again. They fell behind 4-0, but not until the 5th inning yesterday. But now they've got more time to come back at least. Here's Hannah Yetter, the second baseman. Hannah batting .286 with 6 runs batted in. Bats from the left side. And this one is lined in left center field. That'll be a base hit. This could be extra bases. Niles fields, and Niles throws it in and holds Yetter to a long single. So third hit of the inning for the Spartans. Again, Tampa only had 3 hits last night. Florida Tech only had 3 hits, and Tampa's already equaled their hit total from last night here in the first inning. Here's Carly Salisbury, the first baseman. Salisbury batting .280, 16 RBIs, 28 for 100 with that .280 average. That's easy to compute. Pitch is in for a called strike, and it's 0-1 on Salisbury. He went over 3 with a run scored last night. So Tampa with an early 3-0 lead, and Florida Tech just trying to get out of the top of the first. Yetter's on first. And the pitch is a pop-up to Garuli at second. She squeezes it for the out. The inning is over, but 7 batters come to the plate, and Tampa scores 3 on the 3-run homer by Winners. So 3 runs, 3 hits, a walk, and nobody left on base. So he played 1/2 an inning here at Nancy Bocke Field on the campus of Florida Tech. Again, a hot, sunny day here inside the Olin Complex. It is Tampa 3 and Florida Tech nothing. Again, J.C. Miles with you, FloridaTechSports.com. Let's give the Panther lineup under the direction of Val Silvestrini, who is at 467 wins. Again, approaching 500, which no doubtly she's going to reach sometime next year. I'm predicting either late March or early April. And in the same breath, Leslie Cantor has 893 career wins. And, you know, if Tampa can go just a little bit into the postseason, if Tampa can get on a winning streak, Cantor might get to 900 before the end of this season. I mean, Tampa's going to have 6 more games remaining. So they have to sweep today and then win the final 6, and she'd be at exactly 900. All right, Malaya Nelson is going to lead off and play left field. This might be the first time Malaya's led off in a game this year. Batting second will be the third baseman, Mandy Schwartz. Mandy actually led off last night, but being dropped to the number 2 spot today. Emmett Chisholm hitting third at first base. Batting fourth, the designated player, Haley Ryder. Batting fifth, the right fielder, Jillian Moeller. Moeller usually bats cleanup, but dropped down to the number 5 spot. Kay Rodell hitting sixth. She's the catcher. Batting seventh, the shortstop, Mia Torito. Hitting eighth at second base is Audrey Garuli, and batting ninth at center field is Ella Niles. So here's Malaya Nelson. Again, Holly Steffes is in the circle for the Spartans, and the pitch is outside for a ball. It's ball 1. So Malaya's got a 7-game hitting streak going, batting .336 with 12 runs batted in, having a good year for Florida Tech. Pitch is outside for a ball. That'll run the count to 2-0 on Malaya Nelson, again to be followed by Mandy Schwartz and Emmett Chisholm. So Steffes on the rubber. The 2-0 is high, 3-0. So Steffes having a good year, 6-1 with a 1.45 ERA. This is her 11th start. She's got 1 complete game. And like Hahn, she has given up less hits than innings pitched, 50 against 62 and 2/3 innings, but here she walks Nelson. Panthers need one more base runner to bring the potential tying run to the plate. And that'll bring up Mandy Schwartz. Again, Mandy honored before the game. Again, 24 career home runs. She is one of 2 seniors, along with Niles, who will be departing the program. So again, Steph has 50 hits allowed in 62 and 2/3 innings. She's allowed 15 runs, 13 of the 15 earned, walked 14, and struck out 51, so about a 3.5 to 1 strikeout to walk ratio. The pitch is in for a ball. It's ball 1, so that's 5 straight out of the strike zone so far for Steffes for the first 2 batters. Steffes not allowed a home run in 62 and 2/3 innings, and opponents are batting .217 against her. And we're going to have a conference in the circle. Something caught Leslie Cantor's eye, so the 32nd-year head coach is out to the circle to have a chat with Steffes and also the rest of the infield. She's doing a little bit of yard work on the rubber there, so maybe this is a rubber problem and planting the cleats okay in the dirt. But everything appears to be okay, and Cantor goes back to the dugout again. University of South Florida grad, and back when she was a player, a very good one at USF. All right, so settling into the box is Mandy Schwartz. Mandy batting .315 with 10 home runs and 35 runs batted in. Pitches in for a called strike, and it's 1-1 on Schwartz. She has not had a home run in about a month. Her last home run was against Lynn, again setting the all-time career home run record with 24. And the pitch is a fly ball, left field. This might be on cue, and it's gone. So Mandy Schwartz breaks about a month gap in between home runs. That is her 25th career home run and her 11th of the season, along with her 36th and 37th runs batted in. So just like that, Florida Tech is pulled to within 3-2. So, again, Winters had a 3-run homer in the top of the first. So a little bit of home run derby to start off, and Schwartz responds with a 2-run homer. Well, again, last night it was scoreless at the end of 4. Today we might have a high-scoring affair, so maybe runs won't be at a premium. Here's Emma Chisholm, the Panther first baseman. Chisholm has a 9-game reach base streak going. She's batting .439 with 18 home runs and 59 runs batted in, leading the team of those 2 latter categories. The pitch is high for a ball 1. So I'll tell you, Steph is getting that pitch count up a little bit too higher in the first inning, throwing a lot of balls. And that is 1 ball she would like to get back on Schwartz. So that one was well targeted. It split the scoreboard and Old Glory out there. The pitch is in for a called strike, and it's 1-1 on Emma Chisholm. So Chisholm leads the team at several categories, hits with 61. Doubles with 10. Again, home runs and RBIs, 18-59. Total bases, 125. Slugging, 899. And on base, 506. Pitch is very, very high, and it's 2-1 on Chisholm. Haley Ryder in the on-deck circle. Well, again, we'll go over the softball standings in the Sunshine State Conference during our next break, which will be at the end of the top of the second. Ball's lifted out in the right field. This could be trouble, and this one is gone. Back-to-back home runs, Mandy Schwartz and Emma Chisholm, the 2 leading home run hitters for the Panthers, go back-to-back, and we're tied at 3. Home run derby in the first inning. Again, for Tampa is Winters, and Florida Tech goes back-to-back with Schwartz and Chisholm. Well, I'll tell you what, Mandy Schwartz, I mean, I'm saying this good-naturedly. Mandy Schwartz has to keep hitting home runs because Emma Chisholm is right on her tail, and Chisholm should be back next year. And, Schwartz went through a lot to get the career home run record, but Chisholm is kind of knocking on the door in the background. And Chisholm will be back next year with another big year. She could surpass Schwartz. Well, Leslie Cantor has seen enough of Steffes, unfortunately for her. And coming in to pitch is number 8, Coda Travers. She's a 5'5 freshman out of Davie, Florida, which is down toward Fort Lauderdale in Miami. Went to American Heritage High School, that in Plantation in the Fort Lauderdale area. So there are still no outs. We've had a walk, a 2-run homer, and a solo homer, and Travers being called upon. I think we figured we'd see Travers today at some point, probably a little bit later in the game. But she has to come in here. So for Travers, 2-4 record, 2.8 ERA. This is her 9th appearance, 1 complete game, and she has started 7 games this year, so she has started periodically. 35 innings pitched and 35 hits given up, so 35 and 35. She's allowed 19 runs, 14 of the 19 earned. She's walked 13 and struck out 9, so the strikeout-to-walk ratio not in a favorable position. Opponents are batting .252 against her. And the pitch by Travers to Haley Ryder is in for a ball. It's ball 1 on Ryder. Ryder last night had 1 of the 3 Panther hits. Panthers had 3 hits. They're all singles. So she went 1 for 3. The pitch is on the outside corner. In for a strike that evens the count up 1-1 on Haley Ryder. Left-handed batters, Ryder, feet parallel to the plate. And the pitch is low for a ball, and it's 2-1 on Haley Ryder. Jillian Moeller is in the on-deck circle. And the pitch is high. And it's now 3-1. So both pitchers have had trouble in the first inning trying to get command of their pitches. And the pitch in for a called strike. So again, Travers, 5'5" freshman from Davie, Florida. That's about the location where Nova Southeastern is located. And just a bit outside, it's ball 4, and Florida Tech still has no outs here, hitting in the bottom of the first. That'll bring up the right fielder, Jillian Moeller. So, second walk of the inning, first one allowed by Travers. And here's Jillian Moeller, who usually bats cleanup, but has been dropped to the number 5 spot. Jillian 0 for 3 last night. She struck out 3 times. Pitch is in for a called strike, and it's 0-1. Moeller, 260, home run, and 17 runs batted in. She's 2 for her last 13, trying to break out of a slump. Outfield straightaway. That ball's punched down the left field line, but it's foul. Oh, foul by probably a foot or less. So good idea by Moeller going the opposite way, but sliced it just a little bit too much. So catching up in the count. I don't think it's 0-1. Well, we'll just go with it. Get the scoreboard's working. Oh, it's 0-2. Okay, they put it up. Pitch is outside for a ball, and it's 1-2. So again, the back-to-back homers by Schwartz and Chisholm. So Florida Tech now has 38 home runs as a team, and Tampa's only got 5, but they got one already today. The pitch is sliced down the left field line, high in the air, but that'll be out of the reach of the left fielder, Abby Johns. In fact, let's give Tampa's defense while I have a moment. Carly Salisbury is playing first base. You got Hannah Yetter at second. Kenzie Reynolds, the shortstop, and Jenna Newpaver at third. We'll check the outfield in a moment. 1 ball, 2 strike pitch coming up to Moeller, and she punches it foul down the left side, and the count remains at 1-2. Abby Johns playing left field. Joey Trawick in center. Cam Feast is in right. Kenna Kreidler is pitching. And again, Coda Travers making an appearance here early in favor of Steffes. The 1-2 is hit foul, and look out, Val Silvestrini. So Val, their first dodgeball effort to avoid that ground ball. And again, Vanessa Rubio is no longer around. Again, Vanessa, very talented catcher, and it seemed like whenever Vanessa was up at the plate, Val would back up a few steps because Vanessa was kind of using her as target practice, not deliberately, but it just turned out that way. All right, the 1-2 pitch is in for a call, strike 3, and Moeller has now struck out in her last 4 times at the plate, 3 last night, and struck out here. First strikeout for Coda Travers. So that's the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Kate Rodell, the Panther catcher. 0 for 3 last night was Kate. Pitch to Rodell's in for a called strike. And I want to give a baked potato report. Mr. Rodell gave me an Idaho baked potato, and I ate half of it last night. I figured this is too good to eat in one night, so I sliced it in half and had more than a filling. So thank you, Mr. Rodell, the pitch in for a called strike. Again, I've been promoting a lot during the season. The Kate is the first player to play for Val Silvestrini out of the state of Idaho. And, of course, when you think of Idaho, you think about those potatoes, and you think about getting the sour cream out. The pitch is low for a ball, and it's 1-2. So thanks to Mr. Rodell. And Kate's got at least a couple more years left, the Idahoan. She's only a sophomore, so 2 years back. And good defensive catcher, pretty good hitter. Pitch is high for a ball. Again, she's had her struggles lately, but hitting .246 overall with 20 runs batted in. On deck, Mia Torito, again on first, is Haley Ryder representing the tying run. Pitch in for a ball. No, call strike 3. Oh, a delayed call there by Miss Marizzi. So Rodell is out on strikes, so 2 strikeouts in the inning. In relief, Travers, in relief of Steffes. So she got Moeller swinging. She gets Rodell looking, 2 outs, and that brings up Mia Torito, the shortstop. And the pitch is low for a ball. Another thank you I've got to get in is Mr. Torito, Mia's dad, gave me a nice umbrella to block me out of the sun. I mean, it blocks me out probably about 80%, which is good because it's a long day of softball and the sun is shining brightly. Pitch is in for a called strike. I mean, George Harrison is smiling down upon us right now. Now, I was told by a reliable source that there might be rain late this afternoon. So later the better. 5:30, 6 o'clock, we should be out of here. The pitch is in for a called strike. So it'll be a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Mia Torito. Mia batting just .212. She is 24 for 113, but out of those 24 hits, she's got 4 home runs. Swung on and missed. She strikes out, and the inning is over. So the first part of the inning, very good for Florida Tech, and then 3 batters retired at the end. In fact, nice job by Travers. She came in, she walked Ryder, but she struck out Moeller, Rodell, and Torito to end the inning. So, again, the highlights in the inning, a 2-run homer by Schwartz, a solo homer by Chisholm. The Panthers score 3, and they match the 3 from Tampa on the top of the first. So at the end of 1, we're already tied at 3, and we'll take a break. This is Panther softball. All right, welcome back. Top of the second inning. J.C. Miles with you, FloridaTechSports.com. Once again, my executive producer is Jaden Fabrizio, doing a wonderful job, and she is updating us on men's lacrosse, who has a big championship game over in Tampa. And, Tampa's up 8-4, but in lacrosse, you don't want to get down by much more than 4. So Florida Tech's still in it, and it's still early in the match. So we're going to keep an eye on that as well as baseball. Pitch on the way is in for a swinging strike. So we've got a Florida Tech Tampa day, don't we? We got softball, baseball, and men's lacrosse all squaring off against each other. So a rivalry day for the East Coast and the West Coast of Florida. Abby Johns leading things off for Tampa. She's got a strike 1 count. The pitch is lifted out in the right center field. It's going to find a spot. Base hit. Fielded by Moeller, throws it back in. So a single in the right center field gap by Abby Johns. She's on first with nobody out, representing the go-ahead run. And here's Kenzie Reynolds, the shortstop. Johns went 0 for 1 in a walk last night. Here's Reynolds. She went 2 for 3. In fact, she had 2 of the 3 hits for the Spartans. trying to get the bunt down and bunts it right at the feet of Rodell. Strike one on Kenzie Reynolds. Reynolds batting .264, not too bad of a year. 7 RBIs, has a triple, a double, and 19 for 72 at the plate for that .264 average. All right, now the sun is intermittently gone behind the clouds, so a little bit darker out here, but still plenty of light. Bunt is put down. It's a good one. Throw to first. Ice cream scoop to first in time. I'll take a scoop of vanilla. As she fielded it with her glove and flipped it to first, a little bit high, but Chisholm made the catch. You're afraid maybe Reynolds is just going to beat that out, but got it there in plenty of time. So sacrifice, successful 1-3 Reynolds, and moves Johns to second. And now you got Newpaver and Feast with a chance to try and drive in the go-ahead run. Newpaver started the rally in the first inning by singling. Pitch is in for a called strike, and it's 0-1. She eventually would move up to second base on a 4-3 ground out to third on a fly ball left, and then she eventually would score in the 3-run homer by Winters. Slightly open stance, Newpaver from the left side. She punches it to left field. That's caught by Nelson coming out of nowhere. So Nelson with a catch, and that is out number 2. So Nelson has 2 put-outs in left field. So 2 outs, and here's Cam Feast, who had a rare 0 for last night, went 0 for 3. But she is the team's leading hitter, batting .376, coming into her first at-bat today. She grounded out to second back in the first inning. Pitches in for a called strike, so right now Hahn would like to keep Feast hitless and not give Tampa back the lead. So again, Tampa at 28-10 after beating the Panthers last night 4-0. And again, they're 15-7 in the conference, breaking the third-place tie with the Panthers. So the Panthers are now in fourth place, 1 game behind third-place Tampa. There's a ground ball foul down the left side as head coach Leslie Canner makes that one just go by. I'd like to say hi to my good friend Jackie Davis. Oh, Jackie, you are beautiful. Jackie is not here, the pitching coach. So Denise Rubio is the interim pitching coach today. But, Jackie, I'm going to talk a little bit more about you. There's a high pop-up foul. What I will say is I have been out here 21 years doing the games, and Jackie Davis has been the pitching coach for 21 years. So we kind of came into our respective jobs at the same time. Jackie and I did a men's softball tournament, slow pitch, in Auburndale. Might have been Polk City, but I think it was Auburndale. That's where we met. I did play-by-play. She did color, did a great job. And I think that's the only one we did, but we kept in touch, and she's a classy lady. The pitch is a check swing foul over to the right side. Again, I want to express my sympathies to Jackie and her family. She lost her grandfather, who she was very close to. And I kind of told the story in the air yesterday. I mean, I never really knew my grandfather. I might have been like 2 or 3 years old when the second grandfather passed away in like the early 60s. But Jackie got to know her grandfather very well, had a great relationship with him, and he passed away, and she will definitely miss him. The pitch is inside for a ball. So long at bat here by Feast. Seems long anyway. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. So again at second, we've got Johns hoping that Feast can hit her in. So again for Florida Tech, it's feast or famine right here. They would prefer famine. As time is called, Feast calls time. Feast out of Fort Myers, Bishop Verrod High School. There's a chopper in front of the plate. Throw to first is what? In time. Again, the base umpire's all the way over at shortstop. I had to wait for the call, and just getting her out was the Panther pitcher with the play, that being Hahn. All right, so Hahn able to get out of the jam. No scoring for Tampa in the half of the second inning. So after both teams put up 3 in their respective halves of the first, no scoring for Tampa in the second. We go to the bottom of the second. We're tied at 3. Well, let's take a look at the standings. The top 2 teams in the conference were actually idle last night. St. Leo is actually idle all weekend. Eckerd did not play last night, but they're going to play a doubleheader at Rollins today, and they're going to play a single game at Rollins tomorrow. And Eckerd still has to play St. Leo. I think it's next weekend. But even if Eckerd were to sweep and break up St. Leo's 34-game winning streak. I don't think they're going to catch St. Leo, but Eckerd is trying to hold on to second place, which right now they've got a pretty good grip on. They're 2.5 games in front of Tampa, and they're 3.5 ahead of Florida Tech. And then you got Rollins, again idle last night, playing Eckerd in a doubleheader today. Rollins is in contention for a postseason berth, and evidently Eckerd really is not. So Eckerd's regional record is not as good as Rollins, even though Eckerd's in second and Rollins is in fifth. So that's about the cutoff line for teams from the conference possibly making, the NCAA tournament. Certainly St. Leo, 34-game winning streak, they're definitely in. And then after that, it's kind of a crapshoot, folks, like you're in Vegas at the crapshoot table. Pitchers outside for a ball. It's ball one. Audrey Garuli leading off for the Panthers. So 8-9-1, Garuli, Niles, and Nelson. 3-3 tie in the bottom of the second inning. Again, Travers in relief of Steffes. There's a roller hit to second. Fielded, thrown to first in time. Again, that is Yetter throwing it on to Salisbury for the out, and one away. That'll bring up Ella Niles, the Panther center fielder. Again, Ella, one of our two departing seniors, honored before the game out of Hesperia, California. Where have the years gone? I remember when Ella was a freshman. Well, that was 3 years ago. So the years have gone by. The pitch. Just a bit outside, in for a strike, actually. And it's a strike one on Ella Niles. Ella, 252 with 4 runs batted in. And the pitch by Travers is just a bit outside. They're asking if she swung. I don't think she did, and she did not. So 1-1 on Ella Niles. So Ella's just 2 for her last 25. And the pitch in for a called strike outside corner. Nice pitch there by Travers. Again, Travers, 5'5" freshman out of Davie, Florida, down near Fort Lauderdale and pretty close to the Nova campus. Check swinging a foul. By the way, a couple of other scores from last night. These teams are pretty much out of contention, and we're sad for Barry because, again, Sean Cotter's the head coach at Barry. He was the assistant coach under Val Silvestrini for 4 years. He's been at Barry for about the same amount of time, but Barry's not having as good as a year as I know Sean anticipated, losing to Palm Beach Atlantic last night 4-2. Chopper foul behind home plate, and the count remains at 1-2. I mean, Barry's in 6th place and Palm Beach Atlantic's in 8th, so they are not in contention for the postseason. Nova beat Embry-Riddle 4-3, so good win for the Eagles. And Florida Southern and Lynn in the battle of the Cellar Dwellers. Florida Southern 4 and Lynn 2. The pitch. Just a bit outside. I was waiting for that delayed strike call. Didn't come. So 2-2 the count. So clearly the two best matchups this weekend are this one, Florida Tech and Tampa, and then Eckerd and Rollins. It's a very important series, particularly for Eckerd. They need some quality wins to be considered for the postseason, even though they're in second place. Boggles my mind sometimes. The 2-2 is a check swing roller to short. Hot potato gets sour cream out. So that'll probably be an error.
Now batting number 6, Malaya Nelson.
Error? Okay. That'll be an E6 against Reynolds. So on the one-out error, Niles reaches first, representing the go-ahead run. Again, we're tied at 3 in the bottom of the second. Back to the top of the batting order. And Malaya Nelson. Pitch is outside for a ball, ball 1. Again, in Snohomish, Washington, it is still morning, approaching 10 o'clock Pacific time, where the Nelson family is hopefully watching. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to me. Swung on and missed. Attempted steal second, and she is in there. A stolen base for Niles. That is her 85th career stolen base. She had not had one in a while. Hopefully she'll get up to at least 90. You know, we thought before the season she was going to get close to 100, but just hasn't had nearly the many stolen attempts that she had last year. Pitch on the way is a chopper hit to the right side. This could be trouble. Throw to first in time. Good hustle by Nelson, but good play there by Yetter, throwing it to Salisbury for the 4-3 putout, and advancing to third is Niles. That'll bring up Mandy Schwartz. Well, again, Mandy with her 25th career home run back in the first inning. It was a 2-run shot scoring Nelson in front of her. And it was her 11th home run of the year. Along with a couple of RBIs, she is up to 37. Pitch is outside for a ball. It's ball one. So, Mandy's had her share of milestones this year. If she scores one more run before the end of the year, she'll have 100 runs scored in her career. She is sitting on 99. Pitch is high for a ball. So one more run scored she needs for 100. And she needs 5 more RBIs for 100 in the RBI category. She needs 2 more for 40 career hit by pitches. She doesn't really care about that one, neither do I, but I thought for a laugh I'd bring that up. She might get more than 2 also. There's a fly ball, right center field. Is that enough to go out again? It is off the wall, and the part of the fence came down. So that stayed in the park, and Schwartz has a triple. So that almost went out by inches. So the top part of the wall has like a yellow strip going, and that yellow strip got knocked down. So I don't know if they're going to fix that anytime soon, as Leslie Cantor's going to come out to the circle to have a chat with her pitcher, Travers. So Schwartz is halfway to the cycle, and she's got the 2 most difficult parts taken care of, the 2-run homer and now a triple. So Leslie Cantor coming out for some conversation. So that's an RBI triple. Scoring Niles, who's on third base. She could have walked home in that one. So Florida Tech leads it 4-3. Well, for Schwartz, that was her second triple of the year. Now, I find this interesting. Florida Tech has 38 home runs, and they have 11 triples. That makes sense. But on the other side for Tampa, they're one of the few teams that has more triples than home runs. They've got 10 triples, but they only have 5 home runs. I mean, is there another team in the conference that has more triples than homers? Probably not. That is kind of rare. Pitch is high for a ball. Again, Tampa just had 4 home runs for the entire season until Winters hit her home run in the top of the first. So they are not a home run hitting club, but they do rely on the sacrifice bunt a lot. The pitch is high for a ball. I think we're getting a intentional walk here to Chisholm. And the Panther crowd is booing. Boo. And the pitch. Oh, that was a little bit high. Wow. That ball had some mustard on it, a little bit too much. Get it off the hot dog. And they're not, the catcher, Kreider's not catching it outside. It's more of a high thing. And there's the 4 pitches. So intentional walk to Chisholm. I can't blame Tampa for doing that. Chisholm hit the home run in the first inning. She's always dangerous. First base was open. And there are 2 outs in the inning. So here's Haley Ryder. First and third. 2 outs, 1 run in. That ball sliced foul down the left field line. Ryder walked back in the first inning. In fact, Ryder was the first batter that Travers faced. Travers walked Ryder, but then she struck out Moeller, Rodell, and Torito to prevent any further damage after the Panthers scored 3 in the first. She has given up a run here in the second inning. It's 4-3, Florida Tech. And the pitch is in for a ball. Wow, very close. Again, our home plate umpires, Analia Merizzi, Jose Milicio is on the bases. They were here last night, and they'll have the second game as well today. 1 ball, 1 strike to Ryder. The pitch is fouled straight back. So a 1 ball, 2 strike count on Haley, who's had a few injury problems this year, hasn't gotten the near number of bats that she got last year. I mean, this year, 276 with 3 homers and 20 RBIs. I mean, she was the team's leading hitter last year, batting .378. Pitch on the way is swung on, and what is that? I think it's a foul ball. Yeah, it's a foul ball. Unless they want to look at the replay, we could, stand here for a few minutes, but evidently foul. Haven't had a replay review today. I'd like to go replay reviewless today if we can speed things up. But, if it's legitimate, we'll have a review, but not here. The 1-2. In the dirt and moving up to second is going to be Chisholm. So it wasn't a wild pitch where Schwartz could score from third, but Chisholm does move up 60 feet. So wild pitch, charge to Travers. Now second and third at 2 outs. First base open. Ryder with a 2-2 pitch to her, and she sliced it foul down the left field side. So good battle here between Travers and Ryder. And Ryder had a phenomenal year last year. She batted .378 at 4 home runs and 22 RBIs. She had 45 hits. This year, just 24 hits. But can she come through here and give the Panthers a little bit of a cushion here, up 4-3? The 2-2 is a ground ball foul up the first base side. Fielded by the first baseman, Salisbury. So another 2-2 pitch is coming up from Travers. Ryder awaits, and the 2-2 just a bit outside. Oh, the Tampa crowd wanted that one. Appeared to be outside, and it's 3-2. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs against second and third. So back on the rubber is Travers. And the 3-2 pitch is high, ball 4. Good at bat by Ryder. She fouled off a few pitches and takes the walk, and the bases are loaded. So that is the 3rd walk allowed by Travers. It's the 4th time that Florida Tech has walked today. That'll bring up Jillian Moeller, who's on a strikeout streak, not something she wants to see. She struck out 3 times last night and going 0 for 3, and she struck out in the first inning. She was the second batter that Travers faced. So Moeller will dig back in from the left side. So again, we got Schwartz on third, we got Chisholm on second, we got Ryder on first. They are loaded up, 1 run in. Florida Tech leading at 4-3, and Moeller would love to hit the grand salami and get the mayo and the mustard out of the fridge. Here's the pitch, and it's lined, base hit in left center field. That's going to score 1. Play at the plate. Save at the plate. 2 RBI single by Jillian Moeller. That's the way to break out of a 0 for 4 slump where you've struck out the last 4 times. Moeller, 2 RBI single, and the Panthers increase their lead to 6-3. So that base hit scored Schwartz and Chisholm. It sent Ryder to second. And the Panthers lead at 6-3. And here's Kate Rodell, the Panther catcher, who struck out looking, back in the first. So again, the Panthers, who got blanked last night, have 6 already, and we're only in the second inning. There's a chopper hit toward short. Ball fielded, thrown to first in time, and that is the inning. Ball fielded by Reynolds and thrown on to Salisbury. So another big inning for Florida Tech. I mean, they sent 8 batters to the plate in the first inning. They send 8 in this inning, and they score 3 runs. Again, the big hit was a 2 RBI single by Jillian Moeller. So we got a high-scoring affair at the end of 2. Florida Tech 6 and Tampa 3. We'll pause and be back. This is Panthers. All right, welcome back. We're in the top of the 3rd inning. This game is moving along pretty slowly. Slowly I turn, step by step. So we started a little later as usual, 12:16. So what are we, about 50 minutes in? We're only in the top of the 3rd. That's a kind of a slow-moving game. We'll see if it picks up here. Here's Kenna Kreidler leading off for Tampa in the top of the 3rd. 6-3 Florida Tech. Pitches high for a ball. It's ball 1. Kreidler walked in the first inning. Eventually she would be one of the ones scoring on the 3-run homer by Kelsey Winters. So Hahn settled down nicely in the second inning, faced just 4 batters after facing 7 batters in the first and giving up the 3 runs. Pitch in for a called strike. That'll even the count up 1-1 on Kenna Kreidler. She's a junior out of Newport Richey. And again, returning member from last year's team, which there aren't many for Tampa. A lot of players who are good quality players, a lot of them graduated. Pitch is inside for a ball. Again, a team that was on the cusp of a national championship and then ran into Texas Tyler, who has won the last 2. And Texas Tyler last year, no shame in losing to them. They finished 62-5. How do you go 62-5? Well, they managed to. Tampa ran into a buzzsaw there, but what a year last year. Pitch in for a called strike. I mean, this year's team is different. And they're having a pretty good year, not as good as last year, but you lose that quality number of players. I mean, maybe that happens. But in contention for an NCAA berth, again, 3rd place, 1 game ahead of Florida Tech, who's kind of on the fence right now, as they say. Pitch in for a call, strike 3. And Hahn with the strikeout, and for Kelsey Hahn, that's actually her first strikeout. So 1 away in the visiting half of the 3rd. Here's Joey Trawick, the center fielder. She flew out to left field in the first inning. So again, critical series for Eckert and Rollins. Critical series here, Tampa and Florida Tech. Are Tampa and Florida Tech both going to make the playoffs? Is Eckert going to make it? Is Rollins going to make it? We know St. Leo's going to make it. That ball's fouled off and out of play. I mean, you know, St. Leo could lose the rest of their games and they're still getting in, and they're not going to lose too many because they've won 34 in a row. And again, they're idle this weekend. They are 24-0 in conference. I mean, how do you do that? They've done it. Tampa and Florida Tech lost 2 of the games to St. Leo by 1 run. Pitch on the way is a high pop-up. Guruli under it at second. She will make the catch, and that is out number 2. That'll bring up the designated player, Kelsey Winters, who has the big hit for Tampa in this game, a 3-run homer in the first inning, which gave Tampa the quick 3-0 lead. But Florida Tech matched in the first inning with home runs by Schwartz and Chisholm to tie it up at 3, and then Florida Tech scoring 3 in the second for a 6-3 lead. And we're only in the 3rd inning. Pitch is fouled off to the right and out of play. I'm pretty confident 3 SSC teams are going to make the postseason, but will a 4th because you've got the Gulf South Conference to contend with. The Gulf South Conference has a tournament where, of course, you know, April Madness, things could happen. And actually, it'll be more in the May Madness. There's a ground ball at the short. Torito Fields, it throws to first in time, and the side is retired. So 1-2-3 inning for Hahn, who's settling down nicely as she's retired the last 4. So we'll keep it out here. Top of the 3rd inning is in the books. It is Florida Tech 6 and Tampa 3 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. And the bottom of the batting order will be up for Florida Tech, 7, 8, 9, Torito, Gurule, and Niles. So again, every game important. Eckert and Rollins actually did not play last night. They're playing a doubleheader today, and they're playing a single game tomorrow. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. You never know, being in Florida, maybe you kind of wish you would have played last night, but for whatever reason, they're on a Saturday-Sunday schedule. Again, another game coming up here after this one. And again, today is the regular season finale for Florida Tech. I mean, Florida Tech won't be hosting any regionals, so this is it for the season as I complete my 21st year out here, and it's been a blast. I've witnessed 2 South Regional Championship teams, 2015 and 2019, and 1 championship team in the conference, and that was in 2019. That 2019 team was quite a team. I remember going up to Shorter in Rome, Georgia, and doing a super regional, which Florida Tech lost. That was in 2015. So again, Florida Tech was on the cusp of the World Series in 2015, 2019, and fell a little bit short. All right, Mia Torito leading off for the Panthers in the bottom of the 3rd, 6-3, Florida Tech. The pitch is low for a ball. I'll tell you, if you're Leslie Cantor, you're really hoping that Travers can go a long ways here because you'd rather not use McGinnis, who pitched last night and threw 91 pitches. Pitch is a ground ball 3rd, nicely fielded, thrown to first in time. That's Newpaver throwing it off to Salisbury for the out. one away here in the third inning. That'll bring up Audrey Garuli, the second baseman. She grounded out to second in the second inning. You had Gwen McGinnis last night, who spun a beauty, a 3-hit shutout in 7 innings, walked 1, struck out 7 through 91 pitches. I assume she's going to pitch the second game, so you don't want to bring her in relief here. You don't want to tax her out. Pitches in for a called strike. Maybe if you're Florida Tech, you want to tax her out, but they got some other pitchers. Winters can pitch. They got Allie Specht, but she's only made 1 appearance, so it's mostly McGinnis, Steffes, Winters, and Travers. Pitch missed for a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, Florida Tech, they're trying to win today without the services of Chloe Farello, who's one of their quality pitchers and one of their quality hitters. Plays left field and has hit very well this year. Swung on and missed. But that's the dilemma when you lose a player who is dual, where you're pitching and you're hitting, where you're in the lineup every day. Hopefully Chloe's going to be back next weekend. She's got a wrist injury. Again, the Panthers on the road to Miami Shores next weekend to play Barry. Pitch is low for a ball. That'll be the Panther regular season finale, and then they're going to have about a week off. Of course, you got graduation coming up. And if Florida Tech makes the postseason, they're going to have a bit of a long layoff, which could be good or bad. The 2-2 is a chopper hit to short. Fielded. Reynolds throws to first in time. That is out number 2.
27, Ella Niles.
And that'll bring up Ellen Niles, the center fielder. Niles reached on an error by Reynolds in the second inning. She then stole her 85th career base. And this year, she is 9 out of 10. She was 36 for 39 last year, so just not getting on base as much as she did last year. The pitch is in for a called strike, and it's 0-1 on Ella. But Ella still had a really good career. 3 quality years this year, not as good. Still a threat, though, at the plate. Pitch is low for a ball. Again, if I got my count right, she only has 3 extra base hits in her Panther career. Not a home run. I want to say she's got a triple and 2 doubles, and that's been it through her whole career, which is surprising. Pitch is in for a called strike. Given the fact that she's been a pretty good contact hitter throughout her career, she's got great speed, and she is certainly one who could hit balls into the gap, but for whatever reason, she's been mostly a singles machine, kind of like a Wade Boggs from 20 years ago. There's a ground ball to first. Throw to second. Oh, diving head first into Niles. Be careful. You never really want to do that. But she is out, and the inning is over, so that's a 3-4 play as the ball was fielded by Salisbury, and Yetter got to the bag quickly to take the throw. All right, that's a 1-2-3 inning for Travers, so Florida Tech goes down 3 up, 3 down. We've played 3. It is 6-3. Florida Tech. We'll pause and be back. This is Panther. All right, welcome back. We go to the top of the 4th inning. So we're about 57 minutes into this one. As we go to the 4th inning, it's going to be Hannah Yetter, Carly Salisbury, and Abby John, 6, 7, and 8 in the Tampa batting order to face Kelsey Hahn, who has settled down nicely after a rough first inning, giving up the 3-run homer to Winters. She has pitched shutout ball the last 2 innings. Pitch in for a ball. It's ball 1 on Yetter, who singled back in the first inning. So again, Yetter, Salisbury, and Johns for the Spartans. The Panthers up 6-3 here in the 4th inning. Well, bad news for men's lacrosse. I'll tell you about it after this pitch. The match is not over, but it's looking grim. Ball's fouled off and out of play. So a 7-goal lead in lacrosse, I would think, is really hard to come back from. 3 or 4, you could probably do it, and maybe Florida Tech could do it, but men's lacrosse is down 11-4 about midway through the third quarter. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's 12-4. Is that baseball or softball or lacrosse? Pitch misses. Oh, I thought it was 11. Oh, okay. I'm getting it straight here. It was 11-4. Now it's 12-4. So the Panther men, I think they're probably going to make the NCAAs even if they don't beat Tampa today, be in that large berth as they finish second place in the conference. Their ball's fouled off and out of play. So we're tracking a few things. 12-4, Tampa men's lacrosse beating Florida Tech at this moment. And let's see, baseball is early, top of the second, no score again. Tough loss for Florida Tech last night. They trailed 1-0. They led 2-1, but then they lost 3-2. Kind of a moral victory because playing Tampa has always been difficult for the Panthers. Pitch is high for a ball. Oh, look at there. Well, you can't look. This is, we don't have a camera for you people watching, except the camera on the field. Florida Tech leads 1-0. They just got to run right at this very moment. So Panther baseball up 1-0. They'll probably need some more than that. I'll tell you, A.J. Wydra, what a ball game he pitched last night, but just didn't get enough run support. All right, 3-0 pitch is lifted out in the left center field. That's going to be in the gap in left center. This is going to be extra bases for Yetter, and she will get in the second with a double. So Tampa needs one more base runner to bring the potential tying run to the plate for Yetter, her third double of the year. That brings up Carly Salisbury, the first baseman. She popped up to second base in the second inning. And let's see, we're going to okay, Yetter's still at second. I thought maybe they're going to bring in a pinch runner. But Yetter's still at second. And here's Salisbury. She bats from the right side. Well, again, if you're Florida Tech, you can't relax. This Tampa club can come back pretty quickly. Pitch is high for a ball. Florida Tech came back pretty quickly from a 3-run deficit. The 3-run homer by Winters in the first, and then the Panthers getting homers from Schwartz and Chisholm in their half of the first, tying it at 3 and then adding some more along the way, and they're now up 6-3. So runner on second, nobody out for the Spartans. The pitch is in for a called strike. Looked a little bit high, but called a called strike by Analia Merizzi. And her partner is Jose Milicio, who's on the bases. The sun is back out pretty much in full force. There are a lot of white puffy clouds overhead. And there is some wind, about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Squirting around the bunt. Bunt is put down. Throw to first in time. 1-3 sacrifice by Salisbury. Successful, moving Yetter to third. I tell you, Leslie Canner, she's a terrific coach and everything. I've never believed in bunting players to third. And especially you're down by 3 in the fourth inning. You're midway through, and, Val Silvestrini's going to come out for a chat with Hahn. But I just hate giving up outs. If you're down by 1 run, maybe you do it. But, she's down by 3, but you know what? She's forgotten more softball than I've ever known. And she's going to have a huddle of her own. And there's Denise Rubio in the huddle with Leslie Cantor and 3 of the players. And again, Denise Rubio doing double duty today. Again, she is the acting pitching coach because the lovely Jackie Davis could not make the trip. Hello, Jackie. I know you're watching. I'll try and be nice to you. Again, I've known Jackie, I think, for about 20 years. I'm trying to remember that men's slow pitch softball tournament we did in the wonderful town of Auburndale, over kind of toward Lakeland way. And we had a good time and connected as friends, and we've been friends ever since. I want to say 2006, 2007. It was a while back. But Jackie, I hope you're having a wonderful day. And again, my sympathies for the loss of your grandfather. I know he probably adored you, and you definitely did adore him. All right, first and third, 1 out. Good spot here for Tampa. Tying run at the plate is Johns. The pitch is in for a called strike, and it's 0-1. Johns singled back in the first inning. Actually, the tying run is not at the plate. There's just a runner on third. They need one more base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. I'm jumping all over the place, folks. If you're Johns, just get a single, make it 6-4. Don't have to get it back all at once. There's a high pop-up hooked foul, and that one actually goes behind us and out of play. So again, men's lacrosse was losing 12-4 at last check, and Panther baseball was up 1-0. Oh no, it's now 13-4. Tampa men's lacrosse pulling away from Florida Tech. That's disappointing. Tampa's good in a lot of sports. Have you noticed that? Pitches in for a ball, and it misses. It's 1-2. Again, the Tampa baseball team, they've won 2 national championships in a row. Tampa softball, national runner-up to Texas Tyler last year. Men's lacrosse program is elite. I think their women's program is pretty good too. They don't have a football team, otherwise they might be good at that. Time is called. So 1-2 the count on Abby Johns, the left fielder. Pitch by Hahn is a foul ball right at the feet of Johns. So Johns out of the town of Sarasota. That's the spring training home for the Baltimore Orioles, who are looking a lot better this year after a lot of injuries last year. But what is that? Smith Stadium over in Sarasota, where the Orioles train in Sarasota. It'll be a 1-2. That ball's lifted behind third base. It's going to be fouled by about a foot or so. As Malaya Nelson getting a little bit of a workout, picks the ball up, throws it back to the pitcher circle. So it'll continue to be a 1-2 count on Abby Johns. Again, Yetter's on third base. She doubled and then moved up on a sacrifice by Salisbury. Outfield straight away, pretty normal depth. And the 1-2 is a ground ball foul. A little target practice for the Panther dugout. Everybody's okay. It was a kind of a chopper. You don't want any line drives. I mean, again, the Eckerd baseball coach, or the former Eckerd graduate, is now the manager of the Orioles. Actually got hit by a line drive by one of his own players. And it was on a check swing. And still had enough velocity, and he's okay, evidently. The pitch. Oh, low. Ho-ho. It's 2-2. Awfully close. Missed it by that much, Chief. Yeah, I know, Max. All right, 2-2 the count. Yeah, get smart. Can't get away from it. Rules my life. It'll be a 2-2. The pitch is hooked foul. Boy. Hahn's pitch count. I wonder if I could get that. Can we look up Hahn's pitch count? I think the pitch count's getting pretty high. We're in the fourth. There have been so many foul balls today, really by both teams. So we're in the fourth inning. You hope it's under 70. I'm going to guess 70 or a little less. We'll get that in a minute. So this will be another 2-2 pitch by Hahn to Johns. And there's a high pop-up. Shallow center field. Niles is under it. Runner tag to third. Here comes the throw in. And she will beat it at the plate, that being Yetter. So Johns doing a good job just lifting a ball deep enough to the outfield to Niles, who made the catch, but it's an RBI for Johns scoring Yetter, and it's now 6-4. So 2 outs and nobody on. I think Florida Tech will take that exchange. Give up a run, get an out. So 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Kenzie Reynolds, the shortstop. She put down a 1-3 sacrifice bunt in the second inning. And the pitch by Hahn is in for a ball. Again, Hahn, 5'8" sophomore out of Orlando, went to Lake Nona High. Okay, I wasn't too far off, less than 70. So Hahn is going to have her 64th pitch right here. Swung on and missed. That's not too bad for the fourth inning. So 64 pitches in 3 2/3. I think Val Silvestrini can live with that, and she would love to see Hahn go pretty far because she's more than likely coming back with Murphy in game 2. You don't really want to have to use her. I mean, she pitched last night against McGinnis, and both were stellar. The pitch is high for a ball. That'll run the count 2-2-1. Again, Hahn's a computer science major. Rise ball, drop, fastball, curveball, and an off-speed pitch in her pitching repertoire. Again, computer science, that's a good major. You should be able to find a job. Or if you're an engineer, like Mandy Schwartz is, pitch in for a called strike And it's 2-2. So Mandy's got a job lined up. Again, she was one of the 2 departing seniors today in Raleigh, North Carolina. She'll have to go to some North Carolina State games. Civil engineering major. A drainage design engineer job is awaiting for her after she graduates. The pitch is punched to right field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Perfectly placed by Reynolds along the line, probably about 5 feet from the line, and Moeller could not get to it, and Garuli could not get to it. So perfectly placed, 2-out single by Reynolds keeps the inning going for the third baseman, Jenna Newpaver, as we go back to the top of the batting order. So I've got 6 hits for Tampa. They had 3 of the 6 in the first inning. So again, Newpaver, she singled in the first and scored. In fact, she scored on the 3-run homer by Winters. Flew out to left field in the second inning. So potential tying run at the plate in Newpaver. She does not have a home run, has 18 runs batted in. Leads the team in hits coming in with 37. Pitch on the way is in for a called strike 0-1. So actually that single in the first inning was her 38th of the year. And she leads Kreidler by a few and also Feast by a few. 0-1 the count. So Hahn trying to get out of this before it gets a little bit too interesting. Swung on and missed. And she's in a good spot here. No balls and 2 strikes on Newpaver. Jenna Newpaver. 5'4" freshman from North Reddington Beach, Florida. Osceola Fundamental High School. Osceola. It'll be a 2-strike pitch. Just a bit outside, and it's 1-2. Hopefully Bob Euchre's watching the game from heaven. Major League. Great movie. All right, it'll be a 1-2. Hahn to Newpaver. Reach for, knocked down by Hahn. Throws to first in time. So Hahn didn't panic. She knocked it down. She calmly picked it up and threw on to first for the out, and that retires the side. Tampa did get 1 run back. Sacrifice fly by John, scoring Yetter. But the Panthers still lead it as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. It is 6-4 in favor of Florida Tech. Well, I saw an interesting story on the Sunshine State Conference website, and I was thinking this was going to come. I didn't know it was going to come this soon, but I thought it was going to come. So the Sunshine State Conference is going to get bigger. Flagler has been announced as an addition to the SSC, so they're going to be leaving the Peach Belt, and they're not going to come in this fall, but the following fall, 2027. So they'll have 1 more year in the Peach, and then they'll come to the Sunshine State Conference. And, you know, certainly for Flagler, it makes sense because they are a real outlier. And now they'll have a really close trip being in St. Augustine with Embry-Riddle, who's down in Daytona Beach, maybe an hour drive at the most, depending on traffic on Interstate 95. You never know, but they're going to be close by. But, you know, Flagler's had to travel to, like, Georgia and South Carolina. I mean, they're the only Peach Belt team in Florida. So, you know, they should be in the Florida Conference with other Florida teams, and they are. They're, you know, their traveling will still be a little bit tough. I mean, Barry and Eckerd and Tampa will be decent trips, but, you know, nothing like to, say, West Georgia or the other teams in the conference. Their closest trip might have been 2 or 3 hours. You know, now it'll get a little better. So the Flagler College Saints, pitches low for a ball. Again, if you grew up in Florida, I mean, there are a lot of, I'm a substitute teacher, a lot of field trips go up to Florida with especially elementary kids. You should learn about St. Augustine. Beautiful city. Right field, base hit. That was all for the club. Second baseman Yetter just barely deflected. And picked up by Feast and played back in. Now bring up Manny Schwartz, the Panther third baseman. For Schwartz, they 2-run homer in the first inning, and fifth third homer, and he followed that up with a triple in the second. So halfway to the strike, double and single. Field in Kansas, Florida Tech. We got a good one in the Sunshine State Conference. It is Florida Tech 6 and Tampa 4. We'll pause me back to Kansas football at FloridaTechSports.com. All right, welcome back. We go to the top of the fifth inning, so we're about an hour and 17 minutes into this one, moving along nicely on this hot, sunny, and windy afternoon. Here at James Boston Field, inside the cold complex. And Jason Miles with you. Executive producer is Jaden Fabrizio. And again, Jaden keeping us up to date on baseball, mental lacrosse. We'll check on that in a minute, but here's Cam Peace leading off for the Spartans. Top of the fifth. There's the ball punched over the head. Up on, and nothing Florida Tech can do on that. Frito fields it, but no play at first, and Peace reaches just a floater that floated right over the head of Hahn, right in front of second base. So infield hit by Peace. That brings the potential tying run to the plate. The catcher, Kenneth Kreidler, who was 0 for 1 and a walk. So again, retracting mental loss. Things are looking a bit bleak. We're down 15-4 last check. SSC, ball bunted on, good one. That's Schwartz throwing at the first, 5-3 sacrifice. Executed well by Kreidler. That moves Peace up to second base. So Tampa, they have 3 more innings left. Lance Silver run here, and they're down by 2. Here's Joey Straywick, who will slide out to left field, pops up to second base. Boy, I tell you, I wish he could score a touchdown on one throw. But Baker Mayfield is not available. 14-7. Can't believe the men's cross. That ball's line, that left field line, fair ball. That's going to score a run against by Nelson. He'll play it back in. It'll be an RBI double by Straywick for Peace, and it's now 6-5. A tying run is standing on second base in Joey Straywick, who came into the game batting just 28. Big hit there. So RBI double. There's only one out. Tying run at second. Here's Kelsey Winters with the 3-run homer in the first inning. Here comes Velasquez alone after the really walk on. So 14-7 Tampa mental loss leads over Florida Tech, and we get an update on baseball. Well, Florida Tech jumped out 1-0, and Tampa tied it up at 1. Looks for a game last night. Tampa won the baseball side. So Florida Tech pretty competitive so far. Really in any sport, what do you want to do? Softball or baseball, you want to make the routine play and make the occasional spectacular play. You don't want to give a team extra out. You want to be fair, on a lot of odds. So Tampa here with a runner on second, 6-5 Florida Tech in the fifth. It's been an entertaining game, and we had Kelsey Winters up the plate after hitting a 3-run homer in the first inning. Pitch, a high pop up right side, and this one's out of play. On Kelsey Winters. So in the mind of Kelsey Hahn, he has been thinking, okay, I don't want to give up another homer to Winters. How am I going to pitch him? How differently can we do it? And, Gabriel Adele has a role in that, as does Val Silverstein. Adele's getting, I mentioned, 6 Val in the dugout. What's going on in this? It's actually on that probably doesn't think too much. Val is the empress of this program. He's the vice empress. Take a little bit. She's got some pitchers on her sleeve. The 0-2. It's a fly ball left field. This will stay in the ballpark for Nelson. She'll make the catch. Very shallow left field. So Winters is retired, and holding the second is Straywick. That's a big out. That is out number 2. And here's Johanna Yetter, the second baseman. Yetter comes up. He singled in the first and doubled in the fourth, so he is halfway through the cycle. He reversed at fourth on the way to the cycle. Possible cycle, but it's a call cycle one. So Yetter's gotten the easy part of the cycle figured out. And she needs to triple and a homer, but more importantly, she wants a single here to try and tie the game and get her teammate second base straightaway gets another one run. Pitch is fouled off left side, and that's play. So on getting ahead at 2 strikes, so she is north of 70 pitches right now. We'll try and get an update to it at 63. Early part of the fourth inning. She might be approaching 80. And it's getting a little high. How much gas does she have in the tank, Jeff? Where'd that one? The pitch. It sliced the left out. Well foul. Now, Hahn's last start against Deckers last weekend, she threw 74 pitches in 5 innings, so she's somewhere around that right now. Gave up no runs in 5 hits. Walked 1, struck out 4. That was the game that Florida Tech beat Deckers 8-0. The 0-2. Top red towards short. Cerrito has to hurry. Throws to first. And out at first base. I think Coach Tanner's going to want to take a look at that. She signaled save and said, we need to look at that. I think she would say that. I'm trying to get biased announcer here, but I think it's worse out with tie and they tie goes in front of it. Now the umpire's going to huddle. You know, I think if the coach wants to look at this, the umpire should go to the replay. As the umpire has the control. Oh, okay, they overruled it on the field without going to replay. Okay, so the Panthers who were running off the field now come back. And now Valso's the reason for next thing saying, well, let's get it into replay. I'll tell you, the thing about Val is she's not the one that gets very upset anyway. So when she gets upset, she usually has a good week. So needless to say, we're tied at 6. While that was going on, Trawick scored. So we are 6. We're not 7 up, but we're 6 up. We're not at the Uncola yet. All right, so we got a bit of delay here. Val Silvestrini wants a further explanation. Well, again, you know, if Coach Canner wants to go to the replay, I know it delays the game and it's kind of inconvenient. We're out here in the hot sun, although I want to thank Mr. Cerrito for this umbrella. But, I mean, let's clarify that rule. I mean, go to the replay. Oh, no, let's have the umpires look at it. I mean, and let's see. I mean, they said safe. And now Leslie Canners could get in her 2 cents. And I'll tell you what. So since he's been at Tampa for 32 years, I'm going to give her a quarter. The heck with 2 cents. I'll bump it up to 25. So now she doesn't appear very happy. So we'll see what happens here. But maybe the umpires have decided to take a look at this. They're looking very stoic on the field. Everybody's frozen in time. Look at that field. Got the Panther players huddled in 4s. They're barely moving. They are chatting, though. What's for lunch? Okay. Oh, I think, are they going to go take a look at it? Wow. Yes. Okay, we're going to get that replay going, folks. Again, right now, we usually cannot get through a game without at least one replay. So, again, yeah, you know, this is the classic case. You make one coach happy. That would be Val Silvestrini. I mean, I think she's going to be safe anyway. But you make Leslie Canner kind of upset, saying, well, she was safe, and you ruled safe on the field. Why are we going to the replay now? Okay, well, the base umpire, Jose Malicio, is not going to the replay yet. He's having a discussion, I assume, with Val Silvestrini. Where's Val? I guess she's in the dugout. So this delay has gotten up to, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. Maybe we can get to 5. If they go to the replay, we could be delayed about 10 minutes. So pull up a chair. We're just getting started. Again, another game coming up after this one. So they'll get the music going, which is okay. Just don't pump it up too loud. It's not a Bruce Springsteen concert. But we'll get the music going. I almost feel like I should take a commercial break, but I'm dying to see what drama is going on here, so we'll keep it out here. And now the two umpires are back consulting. Leslie Cantor not very far away. She's eavesdropping. You can't get anything by Leslie after 32 years. Denise Rubio in the act, talking to two of the Tampa players. And Leslie Cantor kind of shaking her head saying, why can't we make this a little bit easier? So, you know what? I say during the summer, let's get this rule clarified and let's limit the amount of time that we can talk about it. So we're getting close to, I think, 5 minutes at least of a delay here. So let's see what they're going to decide. Okay. They are not going to the replay. They got to check the rule book. That might be going on here. I'll tell you what. Why don't we take a break? I'm getting kind of tired of this, and they got to figure out this rule during the summer. They have a whole summer to figure it out. So we'll be back. It is tied at 6 in the 5th inning, and we'll be back with some. Okay, can you bring it back? Okay, Jose Milicio, the base umpire, has reappeared as they're looking at a replay of what appeared to be an infield hit here by Yetter. Salisbury is the next batter. She's had to wait a long time. So the two umpires are kind of chatting about it. I mean, I don't know why they don't have a decision. Okay, I think the decision is coming here as Milicio is going to talk to Cantor. And I could probably tell by Leslie's reaction what the call is going to be. This is a big call. I mean, is it 6-6 or is it 6-5 Florida Tech? You know, they initially said safe. I don't know why they didn't go with that, and we could just play on and we can get home before 6 o'clock. So what is the decision, Mr. Umpire? We're begging to know. Oh, now he's going to go and talk to Val Silvestrini. Wow. Okay, you know, the local offices here in Melbourne, they have to figure this out during the summer. I'm sorry. You know, baseball, too. Baseball can be just as bad. There's no reason why we should be delayed this long. Make a decision. I know it's an executive decision. Make a decision. Let's move on. Usually I don't like editorializing too much, but you know, it's 2 umpire mechanics. I understand. It's not 4 umpires. They can't see everything. You're making that call from the shortstop position, the base umpire. But you got to live or die with the decision. Be a lot easier if we had a first base umpire the whole time when there are men on base. Probably make a better call, but, you know, in Division II, you have 2 umpires. It's probably a budgetary thing. You know, in the playoffs, I think it goes up to 3. Oh, I think Jose Malicio's making a phone call. He's going to the bat phone. So we will continue to be delayed here. I really thought, you know, coming out of our break, I really thought they had a decision made, so I decided to bring it back here. So we're getting close to like 15 minutes. Okay, now Malicio's going to go talk to Val Silvestrini. And, you know, Val, who 95% of the time is very stoic, and she'll get her 2 cents in, but usually doesn't get too livid. You know, Leslie Canner, she was a little bit more expressive about her opinion. You know, the other thing, this hurts Kelsey Hahn. She doesn't want to take 15 minutes off. Sometimes you got to do that when you're on the bench in your team setting. Okay, you can understand that. She's just standing in the circle. Maybe she should throw some warm-up pitches to kind of keep loose, even though she's thrown a lot of pitches, north of 70. But it's really unfair to her. So, again, they're having a big discussion. I mean, we're not in Pakistan. That's pretty important, what's going on there. This is just a Division II softball game. Well, if I knew how much time they were going to take, I was thinking about taking another break, but let's keep it here for a little while longer. So I test my impromptu-ness. Okay, so again, a call was made. We thought we were going to replay. They went to replay, and they're still talking about it. Again, there's only one thing guaranteed. One coach will be happy. The other coach will be upset. Okay, it looks like is favored Tampa. So I guess it's officially 6-6. Okay, so we're almost ready to get underway. Malicio still trying to convince Val Silvestrini. But evidently Tampa's won the challenge. And again, I mean, I can't make the call, but she appeared to be safe. I try to be neutral on things like this. Make the right call, and let's move on before 2 o'clock. And Malicio's still coming over to talk to Val Silvestrini, kind of like a boomerang. He walks away, and he walks on back. My executive producer, Jaden Fabrizio, is really enjoying this. We should get you an umbrella. I mean, you're cooking in the sun. Again, mucho kudos to Mr. Torito, the dad of Mia, for getting me an umbrella. Otherwise, I'd be cooking. And I put a lot of sunscreen on, too, and I'd be cooking a lot worse. All right, now the 2 umpires are still huddled. Okay, you know what? You want to take another commercial break? This is really getting ridiculous. We're tied at 6. Yeah.
Score is 6-5.
Okay, I'm going to call it at least a 25-minute delay. We are finally playing softball after a laborious delay trying to clarify a play at first base. So Salisbury's coming up, so Yetter does reach on an infield hit. The inning continues. Tampa's tied the game at 6. They have the go-ahead run on at third here in the 5th inning. Wait. That is a 6 up there, isn't it? Pitches in for a... Is it 6-5? It really is 6-5. I could have sworn it was 6-6. Oh boy, now you're really driving me crazy. Okay, the score is 6-5. Okay, in a game like this, that could be critical. So, let's just move on and forget that even happened. Pitches low for a ball, it's 2-0. Wow. Been out here 21 years, and I've never been more disoriented than right now. So Cam Feast is the batter. How is Cam Feast the batter? No, this is Salisbury. Okay. Pitches in for a strike. All right, so Yetter reaches, but only one run in the inning, and it's 6-5. Okay, Salisbury up at the plate. It's 2-1. First and third, 2 outs. 6-5 Florida Tech. Pitches high for a ball. I'll tell you, I'm going to say this before, I'll say it again. Very unfair to Hahn in the circle. She had to wait around 25 minutes. Now, if her team is scoring 10 runs in an inning, she has to wait 25 minutes. She could live with that, but very unfair to her. Just like in Major League Baseball, pitcher has to wait 45 minutes to go back out to the mound for no reason. All right, the 3-1 pitch is in for a called strike, and it's 3-2. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. That means an automatic start for Yetter at first. Again, the tying run is on at third. The go-ahead run is on at first. So if Salisbury could drive a ball into the gap, they might be able to take the lead here. The 3-2 pitch is in for what? A ball. Ball 4. They're loaded up. And that'll bring up Abby Johns, the left fielder. Abby singled in the second, hit a sacrifice fly for an RBI to center field in the 5th. So again, the tying run is on at third. The go-ahead run is on at second. Bases loaded, 2 outs for Johns. The pitch by Hahn is in for a called strike, and it's 0-1. So again, the league office really has to look at this rule during the summer, and they have to do it for baseball too. Are the umpires allowed to consult, or are they not? But don't take 25 minutes. I mean, we all have to get back to our regular lives after this game. Pitch is in for a called strike. So Kelsey Hahn, she, like everybody else, will face adversity in her life, and she had to wait 25 minutes. I mean, this kind of adversity you can live with, I guess. But she takes her softball pretty seriously, and she had to wait around. All right, 2 strikes to count. And now time is called, and we got all time in the world. All right, Hahn with a 2-strike pitch. It's in for a ball. Oh, the Panther crowd was waiting for that delayed 3rd strike call. Awfully close. It's 1-2. And the 1-2 is a pop-up. Can Rodell get to it? Oh, she valiantly dived for it. Like she was diving out of the pool, but she couldn't hit the water. So, still a 1-ball, 2-strike count. So the Idahoan came up a little short. Good try, though. 1-2. So we got Treywick at third. We got Yetter at second. We got Salisbury on at first. Loaded up for the Spartans, trailing by 1. The 1-2 pitch is a fly ball, left field shallow, playable. Nelson has it. And one of the longest innings in history is finally over. And Tampa did get 1 run, but Leslie Cantor really thought she had 2. And she is still mouthing off of the umpire. She is not happy. If she doesn't be careful, she'll get ejected. And now she comes back for a little bit more. And you know what? I don't blame her, and I'm the Florida Tech announcer. I mean, I've known Leslie for a long time, and it takes a lot to tick her off. But I'll tell you, if Tampa loses this game, she's really going to be livid. All right, we'll keep it out here. So that was a really long inning with a delay, and we'll just move on. Tampa scores 1, and it's still 6-5 Florida Tech as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. See if we can get an update on baseball. All right, 2-1 Tampa, bottom of the 4th. Boy, you talk about a game that's moving slowly over in Tampa. Baseball is moving along at a turtle's pace. Maybe they start at 1. I thought they started at noon, but they did start at 1. Okay, well, then I can't keep track of the times that well. So bottom of the 4th, Tampa 2, Florida Tech on the baseball side. Has it improved for lacrosse? All we could do is look for improvement. Can you get it up?
Batting for the Panthers, number 24, Jillian Moller.
And lacrosse was down, I think, 13-4. Was that? Okay, we're back, and boy, look who's back in the circle for Tampa. It is Gwen McGinnis, last night's winning pitcher. The pitch is in for a ball. It's ball, and so this is the 3rd pitcher for the Spartans. And again, McGinnis, 3-hit shutout last night, 7 innings, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, 91 pitches. And we'll see if she pitches game number 2. I mean, she might. So leading off the Panthers, it's Jillian Moller, followed by Kate Rodell and Mia Torito. Moller, one of the big hits in this game, 2 RBI single on that 3-run second. So the Panthers up 6-5. The pitch is just a bit outside. And the catcher, Kreider's going to go out and talk to McGinnis. So again, McGinnis, winning pitcher last night. And how about that ERA? 0.79. 19-4 on the year. So comes in for her 28th appearance. She has started 18 of those 28 appearances. 16 complete games, even 2 saves out of the bullpen, and she's got 8 shutouts. Her 8th one was last night. All right, Moller's up with a 3-0 count. And the pitch is high for a ball 4, and Moller is on base. So I'll bring up Kate Rodell. So Kate has struck out looking and grounded out to short. So Rodell in a bit of a slump, 2 for her last 22. And the pitch. Trying to get the bunt down. She bunts and misses. Strike 1. Again, my thanks to Mr. Rodell for bringing me a baked potato last night, which was so big. I decided to just eat half of it last night, and the rest is waiting for me hopefully by about 5:30 tonight. Pitch is on the way. Foul ball. By the way, I used the entire cup of sour cream on just half of the baked potato. I am a sour cream guy, but I've got more in the fridge. I tell you, a steak and a baked potato, that's my kind of living. All right, Val Silvestrini, I think, is going to send in a pinch runner, and there she goes. So I guess she thought about it, decided to do it now. Slamming Sammy Shortle is going to pinch run here. Again, she's out of Longwood at junior. She been injury prone this year, but you know what? She's got one more year. Hopefully she'll be healthier next year, but I think she started playing maybe about 2 weeks ago. And not really a starter anymore, a pinch runner. Late defensive replacement at times. There's a ground ball hit to third. Picked up, throw to first is in time. So not a sacrifice, but gets the equal job done. As Rodell grounds out to third, and that moves Shortle, the pinch runner from Moeller, up to second. Well, again, in this type of game where it's 6-5 Florida Tech in the 5th inning, for both teams, that is an important runner at second base. Florida Tech with Mia Torito up. She is 0-for-2, trying to drive her in. The pitch is hit sharply to short. It's into left field. Off the shortstop into left field. They're going to try and score. Play at the plate, and she's out by a mile. So Val Silvestrini rolling the dice and sending her, but Nice throw by Johns into the plate, and she was out by a few feet, to say the least. So give me a Torito, a single. No RBI, though, but she does move up to second. There are 2 outs, and there's Audrey Garuli, the second baseman. Audrey is grounded out to second and grounded out to short. So that is I don't think the ball is cut off, 7-2. And the pitch is a pop-up, center field. Lining it up is Trawick. She makes the catch, and the inning is over. So Florida Tech not able to score. And they have the 5th inning as Tampa dodges a bullet. No runs, 1 hit, a walk, and nobody left on base. So it's been an interesting afternoon, folks. It is at the end of 5, 6-5, Florida Tech. We'll pause and be back. All right. All right, we go to the top of the 6th inning. It's Florida Tech 6 and Tampa 5. Ava McCormick has come in to pitch for the Panthers. And, again, Kelsey Hahn, she had to wait through a 25-minute review replay. But she has probably spent north of 80 pitches. So McCormick comes in. And her first batter will be Kenzie Reynolds, the shortstop, against 6'5 Florida Tech, top of the 6th. The pitch is in for a called strike, and it's 0-1 on Reynolds, who's put down a sacrifice bunt 1-3 and also singled. And we'll give you the numbers on McCormick here in a minute. So 0-1 the count. And the pitch by McCormick is a ground ball foul down the left field line. So McCormick's last appearance, what I dug up in my notes is against Rollins, she relieved Chloe Farello, who was the losing pitcher in a game that Rollins beat Florida Tech in 7-5. And McCormick, she only pitched 2/3 of an inning. She faced just 4 batters. But, boy, in facing 4 batters, she threw 38 pitches. Man, that seems like a lot. Average about 9 pitches per at-bat. Pitches low for a ball. So 2/3 of an inning, gave up an unearned run. She walked 1. Struck out 2, had a wild pitch, and a hit batter. So a lot of potpourri for facing just 4 batters. Got a lot out of that. And the pitch by McCormick. First name Ava is hit to right field. That'll be a base hit, and the tying run is on in the name of Reynolds. And this will get a little tougher on McCormick because we go back to the top of the batting order. The third baseman, Jenna Newpaver, who was 1 for 3. She singled and scored in that 3-run first inning, which again was capped by a 3-run homer by Kelsey Winters. So McCormick having to face the meat of this order with Feast and Kreidler to follow. So the tying run is on at first. 6-5 Florida Tech, top of the 6th. The pitch by McCormick, showing bunt, but drawing the bat back, not offering, is Newpaver, and it's ball 1. Pitch by McCormick is bunted on. I guess it's not a foul ball. The ball is active, and to second goes Reynolds. So I guess that'll be a wild pitch. Well, Newpaver has the option maybe now of bunting Reynolds to third. Let's see what she does. Of course, Leslie Cantor's the boss. She'll be relaying the signs from third base. She squares around, tries to get the bunt down. It's foul. That might have got a little bit of Rodell. I'll tell you, Johnny Bench had it right in 1968. Why not catch one-handed? Not to show off, but to protect your throwing hand. I mean, that was kind of a new thing. I think Bench invented it in around 1968. Might have been 67. So I'll tell you, for the catcher, that right hand is important. And the ball's bunted on and fouled off. I mean, you can easily at least get a broken finger on a foul tip if you're exposing your throwing hand. So something for Rodell to maybe think about. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Newpaver. Again, Reynolds on second with nobody out. Tying run on second for the Spartans. The 2-2 is a chopper hit to first. Fielded, Chisholm, step on the bag, runner goes to third. So just as good as a sacrifice, Newpaver out, but to third goes Reynolds, and now she's 60 feet away from tying the game. And here's a very good hitter, Cam Feast, who for the most part has been held in check. She did single in her last at-bat. She is 1 for 6 in the series. Again, she comes in today batting .376. So it doesn't matter if she's 1 for 6 in the series. She is a dangerous hitter from the number 2 spot. She batted third yesterday. So McCormick, a big challenge here to get out a really good hitter. The pitch is in for a ball. Wow. Not sure where that was. Ball won the count. Again, Feast out of Fort Myers, Florida Gulf Coast College transfer, Bishop Verrat High School. Ball's fouled off and out of play. So Feast deciding to stay in Fort Myers, I guess for just 1 year or maybe 2, and then transferring to Tampa and to try and get more playing time. Again, you know, Florida Gulf Coast used to be a Division II school. They have since moved up to Division I in the last few years. So it's just tougher to play at Division I. All right, 1 ball, 1 strike count. Again, Feast, very good player. Tampa's very happy to have her. All right, McCormick with the 1-1. And it's in for a ball. Wow. Very interesting strike zone by Miss Marizzi. Even Kate Rodell kind of looked back and said, okay, well, looked like a strike. Well, baseball's now reviewing balls and strikes. I don't think we want to get to that in Division II softball, but who knows? Maybe that's coming. The bunt is put down. Let it roll foul, and you let it roll foul, and it rolls foul. Didn't quite reach the halfway mark between home plate and first. So, it's interesting on bunts. They never seem to kick back fair. Just let it roll, and eventually it'll go foul or just die, and it'll be a fair ball. So, wise to let that ball roll. It's simply a strike, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Reynolds still on third, and there's just 1 out. The pitch is fouled off. So again, Feast coming in batting .376, a home run, 15 RBIs, slugging, leading the team .541. You can't really rely on her to get a strikeout. She's only struck out 9 times in 85 at-bats coming in. She has not struck out in this game. The pitch is very high. I'll tell you, if Feast should have taken that, it would have been a ball. But she swung at it, protecting the plate, and fouled it off, and the count remains at 2-2. And Leslie Canner, coaching her from afar. That's what she's done for 32 years. USF graduate, very good player for the Bulls in South Florida, even though it should be in West Florida. All right, the 2-2 is swung on and missed. Oh, big strikeout by McCormick. She really needed that, and there are now 2 outs. So McCormick, her first strikeout, that's only the second time that Tampa has struck out in the game. So, they've been doing what teams should do, try and put the ball into play. All right, here's another tough hitter, Kenna Kreidler, who comes in today batting .315. She is 0 for 1, a walk, and a 5-3 sack. So, again, 6th inning. Florida Tech up 6-5. Runner on third, 2 outs. The pitch is outside for a ball. It's ball 1. So, again, critical part of this game for both teams. Can Florida Tech get out of here with a 1-run lead, or can Tampa at least tie the game? McCormick eyeballing Rodell, who's standing up, and now going into the squat. It'll be a ball one pitch. Swung on and missed. Now leaving the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike on Kreidler. Again, she's out of Newport Richey, north of Tampa. Got an interesting story to tell about that. I think it's interesting. Try and get that in after this pitch. And the pitch is low for a ball. Well, I'll go for it here. So I've only been in Newport Richey one time, and there was a good reason. My late mother and I were evacuating from a hurricane. It might have been Hurricane Jean. I honestly can't remember which one, but Jean was really bad. So we found a spot in Newport Richey, and we stayed there for like 3 nights. Not too bad. Not the Hilton Hotel, one of the other ones. The pitch is a ground ball foul, so I have not gotten that far north of Tampa usually. I've been to St. Leo before. It's north of Tampa, but oh boy, what year was that? I can't even remember. 2005 or was it 2004? Might have been 21 years ago, something like that. Anyway, let's move on here. 2-2 on the North Beach native, North Beach, Newport Richey person, Kenna Kreidler. 2-2 by McCormick. Is inside, and it's now 3-2. Well, again, by using McCormick, I mean, Val Silvestrini, I would think, just wants to use Murphy in game 2. Otherwise, maybe she would have gone with Murphy, but Murphy pitched last night. So McCormick's gotten some experience this year. She's done pretty well. Getting another further baptism. New member of the team this year. The 3-2 is a ground ball foul. So Kreidler is not giving in. It is 3 balls and 2 strikes. So again, McCormick, 5'10" freshman out of Middleton, or maybe it's Middletown, Delaware, from the First State. Slight breeze blowing toward right center, barely 5 miles an hour. The 3-2 pitch is a fly ball center field, relatively deep. Niles is back, and it's gone. It's a 2-run homer. And the Tampa dugout explodes out to home plate to greet Kenna Kreidler. A 2-run homer has leapfrogged Tampa into a 7-6 lead. So Kreidler kept battling and finally got the pitch she wanted, and she went the other way nicely over the right center field wall, scoring Reynolds in front of her. So for a team that only hit 4 homers as a team coming into today, they've hit 2 home runs. Winter started off with a 3-run shot in the first, and now Kreidler a 2-run shot in the 6th inning. Now that's softball. You just never know what's going to happen. Throw out the statistics sometimes. Oh, they only have 4 home runs as a team. Well, they've hit 2 today. So things can change dramatically. Pitch is in for a called strike. The batter, Joey Trawick. And with the confusion from that delay, I'm not quite sure what Trawick did in her last at-bat when we had that 25-minute delay, but I'll just say she's 0 for 2. She has flown out to left and popped up to second, and then she did something in the 5th inning, but oh well. The pitch is ground ball foul. I should have that, but I don't. Again, Trawick coming in batting just .228. I do know she reached base, but we thought she scored and she didn't. Something like that. Anyway, 7-6 Tampa, top of the 6th. Reached for and a foul ball, so Trawick really reaching for that one and barely got a piece of it, and it's 2 strikes. If you're a Panther fan, don't despair. 9-1-2 in the lineup coming up. In the bottom of the 6th, Niles, Nelson, and Schwartz. You know, you get Niles on base, you got Nelson and Schwartz who are having good years. There's a high chopper foul off the big net in front of the Panther dugout, third base side. So 2 strikes to count. Well, right now we're about 2 hours and 6 minutes into this one. But actually in time, we're about 1 hour 40. But again, you got to factor in what was about a 25-minute delay deciding whether to look at a replay. That one is punched to second. Gruely on a short hop throws to first in time, and that ends the inning. But a big inning for Tampa as they take the lead on a 2-run homer by Kenna Kreidler. And for Kreidler, by the way, catching up here, her 4th home run of the year. So it's not surprising it's Kreidler because she has hit 4 of the 6 home runs this year. So she goes deep, and at the end of 5.5, it is Tampa 7 and Florida Tech 6. Let's get an update on baseball. 3-1 Tampa in the bottom of the 6th. Again, they start at 1 o'clock, so they are moving slower than we are. And the final at men's lacrosse was 18-7. Well, disappointing. Florida Tech had some high hopes to. I don't think they've ever beaten Tampa in men's lacrosse. Tampa won the conference, and these were the top 2 teams in the conference. I'm talking about men's lacrosse. Florida Tech finished 2nd. They went to Tampa. And, a bit disappointing, but I think Florida Tech's going to get an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. Keep an eye on our website, FloridaTechSports.com for that. But it's been a really good season, good record for the Panthers despite the loss. So to my recollection, Florida Tech, they don't have too many losses in men's lacrosse, but 3 of them have been to Tampa. All right, Ella Niles at the plate representing the tying run. Pitches a pop-up foul down the left side, well out of play, and it's strike 1 on Ella Niles. Niles reached on an error in the 2nd inning and then grounded out first baseman and second baseman. That was a strange play, 3-4. She's trying to pop this over third. It's a foul ball. Rushing in was Johns, couldn't get to it. And Niles will be back at the plate with a no ball and 2-strike count again. She'll be followed by Nelson and Schwartz. So the big boppers are coming up for Florida Tech at a good time where they trail by 1. The 0-2 is reached forward, base hit into left center field for Niles, who has really been struggling lately, but she gets on here with a single to left center field, and she represents the tying run out at first. And I would almost go to Vegas and bet on the roulette wheel that she might be running here. Again, she's sitting on 85 steals. She has a steal in this game. She is 9 for 10 on the year. The pitch is a bunt. So instead, hot potato. Get that sour cream out. Mr. Rodell, could I have another? That's going to be an error on McGinnis. So in her haste to try and get Nelson at first, she bobbled the ball. And now the Panthers have the tying run on at second and the go-ahead run on at first. And Leslie Cantor comes out to the circle. And now Mandy Schwartz will come up. Again, a 2-run homer to her credit and also a triple. So she is 2 for 3. So they're huddling in the circle with Leslie Cantor and the entire infield. And they're huddling over to my left with Val Silvestrini along with assistant coach Shawnee Amarantziana, who was quite a player back in her day. Boys, it's been like 5 or 6 years since the Amarantzianas graduated. Again, Ciari's a volunteer assistant coach, and Shawnee is full-time. They were quite the double-play combination back in the day. Pitch. The butt is put down, but it's foul by Schwartz. Schwartz is actually a leader. Sacrifice bunts along with Niles and Goulet. They all have 5. So those 3 combined had 15 of the 26 coming in. Pitch is fouled off to the right side and out of play. Just checking, Florida Tech does not have a sacrifice in this game, so 26 sacrifice bunts, and Tampa's had at least 2. I think they're up to 49. Pitch is high for a ball. So 2 teams with a stark contrast. Tampa does not hit a lot of home runs, although they've hit 2 today, but they sacrifice a lot. Florida Tech can hit a boatload of home runs, but they don't sacrifice as much. The pitch is fouled off straight back, and the count remains 1-2 on Mandy Schwartz, who's out of Lutz, Florida, and again, 1 of 2 seniors honored before the game, along with Ella Niles. So those 2 will be bidding adieu, and Florida Tech will have most of their team back next year in 2027. The pitch is high for a ball. So again, I started here in 2006, and next year really is 2027. I can't hide from it. I've seen a lot of great softball here in 21 years. Ball fouled off and out of play. So Mandy Schwartz is kind of doing the same thing as Kreidler did and hitting that 2-run homer. She is waiting for her pitch. Again, 25 career home runs. The pitch is hooked foul down the left field line. That looked like a changeup. Oh, making a run. Nice effort. I didn't think Abby Johns was going to get close to that ball, and she almost ran it down in the far left field corner. Then she got to put on the brakes and brace herself against the fence. So Johns has a pretty good speed on her own right. She's back at her left field spot. The 2-2 is swung on and missed. So big strikeout for McGinnis as she fans Schwartz. So that's only the fourth time that Florida Tech has struck out. So Steph has struck out the side of the first, or actually, no, it wasn't Steph, it was Travers. Struck out 3 batters in the first. That's the first time Florida Tech has struck out since the first inning. Pitch in for a swinging strike. Emma Chisholm up at the plate. So again, runners on first and second. We got Niles on second, Nelson on first with 1 out, and Chisholm, who's hit a solo homer and received a intentional walk. The pitch is swung on and missed. Trying to get that high riser by McGinnis, but did not connect, and it's 2 strikes. So Chisholm has hit a home run. She has reached base intentionally on an intentional walk. She has scored 2 runs. And a huddle. Kenna Kreidler is going to go out and talk to McGinnis, and Florida Tech, the one that called time, I believe, is Val Silvestrini talking to about 15% of her team. Everybody's in on the huddle. Batter, on-deck batter, and the base runners. So, they don't do this in Major League Baseball. It's just a quick visit, but do it a little differently in college. So, again, Niles goes back to second, and Nelson goes back to first. So another big moment in this game, and Chisholm trying to get out of an 0-2 count here. Well, it only takes 1 swing. Here's the pitch by McGinnis, and it's sliced foul down the right field line. So Chisholm going very well with that outside pitch, trying to go to right, but she sliced it a bit too much, and the count remains at 2 strikes. Chisholm has struck out 21 times this year, so she is prone to striking out at times. Hopefully not here. The 2-strike pitch is hit down the left field line, base hit. Are they going to try and score the run? The throw comes in. She is safe, and we're tied at 7. Play at third is safe. I thought she was going to be out, but the ball got away. So a big RBI single on an 0-2 count by Emma Chisholm, and we are tied at 7. 7-Up the Uncola from about 50 years ago. Give me that 7-Up right now. It's still sold in the supermarket at Publix. I should pick up a copy. But, of course, Florida Tech wants to go up 8-7 here any moment. So, RBI single by Chisholm, scoring Niles and sending Nelson to third base. And let's see, this will be a pinch runner because Haley Ryder's going to come up. And there goes the pinch runner to second base. Okay, Brianna Garcia from Santa Clarita, California, north of Los Angeles. The freshman is pinch running. She could come in defensively at first base for Chisholm. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But that's usually what happens late in the game when Florida Tech is ahead. Now, if they get up ahead here, Chisholm's already batted. So we'll see if Garcia stays in the game at first base after this inning is over. But right now, she is the pitch runner at second for Chisholm. And again on third is Nelson. Here's Haley Ryder. She has walked twice, and she has flied out to left. So tied at 7, bottom of the 6th inning. Quite a different game from last night, which Tampa won 4-zip. Swung on and missed. I mean, we had 14 half innings last night, and there's just the 1 half inning where Tampa scored 4 in the 5th, and it was a bunch of goose eggs everywhere else. Just a bit outside, and it's 1-1 on Ryder. Haley, a local product out of Brevard County, Vieira High School, forever a Vieira High School Hawk. Swung on and missed late on that swing, and it's 1-2. Well, again, the Panthers have proven, at least in this portion of the game, they've been able to hit McGinnis. Didn't hit her very well last night, just 3 hits. As Ryder trying to get out in front of that one. Instead, pops it foul behind home plate, and it'll be a 1-2 count. Again, the Panthers only 3 hits last night off of McGinnis. All 3 were singles. The Panthers did threaten to score a couple times, but no dice. The pitch. Fly ball left field, playable. Coming in, the left fielder Johns will make the catch. Is it deep enough? Play at the plate is safe. So sacrifice fly to left field by Ryder. And that scores Nelson. So the Panthers lead at 8-7. Good job by Ryder to get that just deep enough to score Nelson. Schwartz is on second. Or not Schwartz, Garcia, the pinch runner's on at second. Got a lot going on in this inning. Can't keep up. So 8-7, Florida Tech. Runner on second, 2 outs. Swung on and missed. And we got a pinch hitter. This is, well, no, it's not a pinch hitter. Shortle pinch ran in the last inning, and now she will assume the spot that was formerly held by Moeller. Pitches a little dribbler to the pitcher circle, and Shortle does something you should never do, slide into first, but she thought she could beat it, but she is out, and the inning is over. But the Panthers dramatically take the lead. Again, the big hit was a RBI single by Chisholm, followed by a sacrifice fly by Ryder. But Tampa still has 3 more outs to deal with. At the end of 6, 8-7, Florida Tech. So we'll pause and be back to this Panthers softball. All right, top of the 7th inning. Buckle your seatbelts, as the former great radio announcer for the New York Mets said for 40 years, Bob Murphy. 8-7, Florida Tech. And Kelsey Winters, not a bad place to start for Tampa. She hit the 3-run homer in the first inning that quickly put Tampa on the board. She was the 5th batter of the game. She scored Kreidler and Newpaver ahead of her. Well, now she is the tying run at the plate. Again, that was her first home run of the year. She'd love to pick up number 2 here or just get on base. Pitch on the way is outside for a ball. It's ball 1, so McCormick is out for another inning. She started the 6th inning. She'll try and, she won't get a save here, but she's just trying to preserve the lead. If she would have come in this inning, she would have had a save opportunity, but it doesn't matter. Florida Tech just wants to get the win. That ball's lifted out in the left center field. It's going to fall in for a base hit. Perfectly placed by Winters over the head of Torito and in front of Samantha Shortle, who has come into play left field for Nelson. So even though Shortle has really fast speed, even she could not get to that. All right, tying runners on at first, so great drama in this game. You don't know how this one's going to turn out. Okay, Hannah Yetter is coming up. We're going to get a pinch runner at first base, it looks like. And it's going to be Aubrey Zeckman, who actually started last night's game, but coming off the bench here. She's a freshman out of Wesley Chapel, which is up, pretty close to St. Leo. The land of the St. Leo Lions, whose softball team is doing some amazing things, even though they're idle this weekend. 34 wins in a row. It'll be interesting to see how they come back from the layoff. Off this entire weekend and playing next weekend, I think, against Eckerd. All right, squaring around the bunt and not offering at it. Ball 1 is Yetter. So Yetter at the plate. She has 5 sacrifice bunts. She is 3rd on the team. Again, she has 5, so she is capable of putting down a bunt. In the meantime, it's Garcia and Schwartz, who were charging. Pitch is outside for a ball. So as I was anticipating, Brianna Garcia has come in defensively at first, and again we got Shortle in left. So Garcia at first and Schwartz at the plate have been charging on 2 possible bunt attempts, but Yetter's let both of them go by, and it's 2-0. Squaring around again. Doesn't like that one, but it is in for a strike, and it's 2-1 on Yetter. And Yetter's had a perfect day. She's got 2 singles and a double. She has scored a run. So you might want to let her loose, but probably be bunting here in the 2-1 as Leslie Cantor going through all sorts of signs. Some of them could have been fake signs. Who knows? But Yetter should be able to process. Oh, she's swinging away. Did not swing. Throw to second, not in time. Goes to the center field, but Niles is there to back it up. So a steal for Winners. And now on the 2-1. All right, I think Val Silvestrini is checking. Hey, we're going to the replay. Why aren't the umpires consulting for 25 minutes? I don't understand. I'm being very sarcastic, folks. That's what we had earlier in the game. They're gonna go directly to the replay. So we'll keep it out here. I just don't understand it. But I guess what Val Silvestrini wants to know is, did the runner leave too early? I mean, every coach will keep an eye on that very closely when there's a runner on and the pitch is delivered. And she thought, you know what, she might have left early. We're going to take a look at it. So we'll keep it here, and hopefully this will be a really quick decision. We'll see how it goes. Meantime, baseball is still down 3-1, and it's at bottom of the 6th. Looks like it's bottom of the 6th. So on the baseball side, 3-1 Tampa. Oh, we got a quick decision here. Oh, she's out. Well, I'll tell you, Leslie Cantor is not in a very good mood because she thought she had a run kind of stolen from her, and now she gets a base runner stolen from her. So that is not a stolen base by Winners. It is an out on a reversal. All right, so now Yetter's up, and Florida Tech needs 2 more outs to try and divide this 3-game series, which, again, I'll have another game coming up sometime later on. There's a ground ball into the center field for a base hit. So 1-out single by Yetter, and now she represents the tying run on at first for Carly Salisbury, the first baseman. Oh, you know what? Salisbury is not coming up. It's Micaiah Brumbelow-Neal out of Moore, Oklahoma. Boy, can we just stop with the tornadoes in Oklahoma? I mean, those poor people. I hope Moore didn't get hit, but that's where Brumbelow is from. Jeez. Oklahoma continues to make the news in a bad way. I mean, I don't know whose fault it is, but it shouldn't be happening. It didn't used to happen that much. Anyway, won't go into that. I mean, climate change, I don't know. Okay, what's happening at first base? Oh, got another pinch runner. Lennox Ulrich out of Plant City is going to pinch run at first base for Yetter. So we got a pinch runner and we got a pinch hitter in Brumbelow-Neal, who appeared in last night's game off the bench. So pinch hitting for Salisbury is Brumbelow-Neal. Runner on first, 1 out here in the 7th. Pitch outside for a ball, and it's ball 1. So Brumbelow-Neal pinched hit for Winners last night. Went 0 for 1, but she eventually scored a run. That's interesting. I wonder what she exactly did. The pitch. Pitch is outside for a ball. She might have reached on an error, and that goes into the books as an 0 for 1. Actually, you know what? She got hit by a pitch. I'm looking back at last night. She got hit by a pitch. That is a plate appearance, but not an at-bat. The pitch is a ground ball and can't get to by Torito, and a bobble by Shortle. This is going to tie the game. Ball's thrown in, so that'll be a single and probably a 2-base error because Torito made a valiant dive for it, couldn't get it. So that's a single, but Shortle in her haste to pick the ball up, and was kind of like a pinball machine, and it pinballed all the way out to deep left center field and going all the way to third after just having what should have been a single was Brumble O'Neill. So I'm guessing that's going to be a two-base error on Shortle and left. That's a hard one to take. So Yetter scores. We are tied at 8, and now Tampa has a golden opportunity to take the lead in the top of the 7th inning as we're tied at 8. And re-entering is 33, Salisbury. So Salisbury got pitch hit for, but again, in softball, you can come back in once. So she has come back in, and she is the runner at third, 60 feet away. This is the coach, Denise Rubio, talking to a couple of her Spartans, and it's Tina Velasquez-Rolón. It's Val Silvestrini making the trip out. I was looking for Val. I love Val to death, but I got to say, she's the shortest one out there, so sometimes she's hard to find. She might be short, but she is golden. So she's having a long talk out there as Analia Marizzi wants to speed the games up, which is kind of ironic when we had that 25-minute delay early, which was ridiculous, but she kind of wants a decision here, and all of a sudden she's in a hurry. So we're tied at 8 in the 7th inning. Boy, what a different game from yesterday where there was only scoring in 1/2 an inning by Tampa, a 4-run fifth, and that was it. It ended up 4-0 for the Spartans. I mean, day to day, you just kind of get the feeling that whatever game comes the next day is going to be totally different, and that's what we have here. So Abby Johns is going to be up, and she represents, well, actually it's Salisbury in for Brumpelo, running at third. So Florida Tech is trying to get to the bottom of the 7th with a chance to win it, but they have to get 2 outs here. There's only there is only 1 out. Boy. It was only the 4th batter of the inning. That makes sense. And Val Silvestrini's got to come out, and Kelsey Hahn is going to come back. So interesting move here by Val Silvestrini. I mean, you can take the pitcher out in softball, and then you can re-enter her, and you can only do that once. So Hahn, who started the game, now relieves McCormick. I thought maybe they'd bring in Murphy because Murphy's going to probably start game 2, but hopefully only bring her in for a few pitches after she pitched last night. But it's going to be Hahn. So Hahn will get loosened up. Shouldn't take her too long. I mean, she threw probably north of 80 pitches in her previous stint in this game. Well, I'll tell you, the chess match continues between 2 of the best in the conference. Again, Leslie Canner in her 32nd year and Val Silvestrini in her 17th year. So these two have been going at it for 17 years. Hopefully Val gets up to 32 years. That's still 15 years away. I mean, good health and God's blessing, she will. I mean, she'll be back next year, and I don't think she'll be eyeballing 500 wins, but I will, and so will everybody else. Because she's at 467 right now. She would love to make it 468 in the next 20 minutes or so. So we are right now at 2.5 hours in this game, but again, keep in mind about 25 minutes was a lengthy delay for no reason. So the actual game time is probably closer to 2 hours. All right, here's Kenzie Reynolds. Again, runner on third. That's the go-ahead run. We're tied at 8 in the top of the 7th inning. There's 1 out. The infield is in, and the pitch is high for a ball. It's ball 1. So the entire infield, you got Garcia at first. You got Garuli at second. Torito at short, Schwartz at third, all hoping for like a soft ground ball. Maybe the runner won't break because there's 1 out. So a lot going on here. A lot to process. The pitch is in for a called strike, and it's 1-1. This is where you make the big bucks as a head coach, and here on both sides. So Silvestrini and Cantor trying to outdo each other here. I mean, do you send the runner on a ground ball? Maybe not. Certainly a fly ball would work out well for Tampa. The pitch is, wow, very close, but a ball, and it's 2-1. And I'll tell you, every pitch in this one is critical. 2-1 the count on Johns. Outfield straightaway, relatively shallow. And the pitch is a bunt attempt, and that's going to score the run. Throw to first is in time. So the Panthers get the out, but Tampa takes the lead 9-8. And, was she safe? She was safe at first? Thought they signaled out. Okay, we're going to have another discussion. Leslie Canner's talking to the base umpire. We're going to go to replay again. This will be the third one. The first one took about 25 minutes. They're saying out at first. Okay, I don't understand this rule. Can we make it consistent, please? If the coach wants to go to the replay, can we go to the replay, please? I mean, Val Silvestrini wants to chat here. She got a positive call, but she wants some clarification. She always manages a smile no matter what the decision. I see those pearly whites from time to time. Okay, Leslie Canner she's been probably the more upset of the two today, and both are wonderful people. Again, I know Leslie for a zillion years, maybe not 32, but maybe 21 because I've been out here for 21 years. She's a great gal. Hey, Jackie Davis, are you still watching this game? Have you taken a lunch break yet? Again, Jackie Davis did not make the trip, the beloved pitching coach for Tampa. Every time I talk to somebody about Jackie, they say, we love her. I love her too. She's great. But her grandfather passed away, so she's thinking about other things, which is certainly good for her. Okay, everybody is stoic. It's like the frozen statues during wintertime at the mall. Okay, so they are looking at a replay, so we'll have some frozen statues for a little bit longer here. Okay, here comes Miss Marizzi. What is the call? Okay, safe. Wow. So it went from safe to out and now back to safe. Okay, we'll just move on. So they said safe. Is there a runner at first? Is the runner going back to first? Okay. Now I'm totally confused. Which isn't hard sometimes. Okay, pitch is high for a ball. Didn't the umpire signal safe? Isn't there a base runner? No? Well, why did the umpire go like this? Oh, boy. I'll tell you, this umpiring crew, I don't know. The pitch is swung out a miss. I've never umpired. I really shouldn't criticize anybody, but the umpire said safe, which told me the runner was safe at first, but actually she's out. Well, good for Florida Tech. They're down 9-8. They do get the out, and there's 2 outs and nobody on. So, again, Hahn, in her second stint in this game after a break, is back in the circle. The pitch is high for a ball, and it's 2-1. So Kenzie Reynolds, the batter, she is 2 for 3. And a sacrifice bunt. She has 2 singles and a run scored. So from the number 9 spot, she's done a nice job today. Outfield is straight away. And the 2-1 pitch is low for a ball, and it's 3-1. Well, again, another game coming up after this one. It'll be about a 35-minute break, so probably north of 3:30 is my estimate. Maybe it'll be closer to 4. The pitch. Swung on and missed. And it's 3-2. So I'll tell you, this game has really gone back and forth. Tampa has the momentum. Florida Tech has the momentum. Now Tampa's got the momentum. Rodell, Torito, and Garule are scheduled in the next half inning. The pitch is high for a ball 4. So Hahn has to try and get out of this inning with a 1-run deficit. So she walks Reynolds. And now Jenna Newpaver is going to come up, I think. She's going back to the dugout. Oh. Okay, so we could have a pinch hitter or a pinch runner. Let's see. Mystery Theater, folks. Don't you love it? Oh, it's going to be a pinch hitter. Wow, pinch hitting for Newpaver. Oh, Bella Campbell, first look in this series at her. Oh, Waco, Texas, the home of Baylor. Baylor didn't have as good of a year in basketball as they usually do, but they did win a national championship. Was it 3 or 4 or 5 years ago? Something like that. The Baylor Bears, Waco, Texas. That's where Campbell is from. So pinch hitting for Newpaper. Pitches in for a called strike, and it's 0-1 on Campbell. Batting just 133, 2 for 15 at the plate. And there's a fly ball to left. Coming in, Shortle makes the catch, and the inning is over. But not before Tampa takes the lead. I'll tell you, they've leapfrogged into the lead a couple times in this game. So they scored 2 in the 7th inning. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. And it is Tampa 9 and Florida Tech 8. We will keep it out here. Again, my executive producer, Jaden Fabrizio, doing a great job. Let's see if we can get an update on baseball. Oh, no. 6-1 Tampa. So the Tampa Spartans, who last night were given a competitive game by the Panther baseball team, ended up 3-2 Tampa. Well, Tampa's not messing around. It is now 6-1 in the top of the 7th. So Florida Tech might come back, but against Tampa, that's going to be very, very tough. All right, Gwen McGinnis is out for another inning.
After the plate, number 5, Cade Rodell.
And let's see, Cade Rodell's going to lead off for the Panthers. Rodell, Torito, and Garuli. Looks like Val Silvestrini was making a future move in advance. But Rodell is going to bat in a regular spot, which is number 6 in the batting order, followed by Torito and Garuli. So Rodell is 0 for 3. She has struck out looking. She's grounded out to short and to third. The pitch is high for a ball, ball 1. Well, if you're McGinnis, you don't want to let the leadoff batter get on. If you're Florida Tech, if you're Rodell, you want to get on any way you can. The pitch is on the outside corner in for a strike, and it's a 1-1. Again, Florida Tech is not known to sacrificing, but if you get your Rodell on, you're probably going to have to be bunting. And Torito would be a good person to do that. There's a changeup. Well, that was a lollipop changeup, about 20 miles an hour, very high, and it's 2-1. Otherwise, McGinnis does throw pretty hard. The pitch. That's lifted into center field, but it's going to stay up for the center fielder, Treywick, who makes the play, and 1 away. So Rodell not getting it down far enough, and Treywick able to catch it at about waist level, 1 away, and here's Mia Torito, the shortstop. So Mia singled back in the 5th inning. She is 1 for 3. She's also struck out once. Pitch to Mia is outside for a ball. It's ball 1. Again, Garuli to follow, and Florida Tech is hoping Niles. But then you flip the order from there. But they still have to get there. Ball 1 pitch by McGinnis. Is swung on and missed. That probably would have been a ball, but Torito took a whack at it and missed it. 1-1. Mia's 2 for her last 12. The pitch is a ground ball sharply hit foul, and Val Silvestrini with a quick move. That ball is really nowhere near her. But still reacted. Good instincts. All right, 1-2 the count on Torito. Torito from Oviedo. Oh, just a bit outside. Wow. Of course, Bob Uecker used to exaggerate that a lot in Major League, but that one was really just a bit outside. The 2-2 is swung on and missed. Oh, Torito was tied up into a knot on that one. It looked like she kind of swung above the ball, and that is out number 2. And Florida Tech is down to their final out, and Audrey Garuli. So McGinnis in relief gets her 2nd strikeout, and it's up to Garuli to try and keep this game going in the bottom of the 7th. That ball is punched down the right field line, and it's just foul. Probably less than a foot. I kind of lost track of the line. It was close, but it looked like it was foul. So 0-1 the count on Audrey Garuli. She is grounded out to second. She's grounded out to short. She's flied out to center. 0 for 3. She would love to try and get on base here. 0-1 the count. And the pitch is high and outside. It's 1-1. So Garuli hoping to get on to give Niles a shot here. Sun's gone behind the clouds a little bit. Windy day, cloudy, sunny, everything you want. There's a pop-up foul. That would satisfy every person's weather ambitions. You know, a little cloudy, a little sunny, a little windy. Old Glory getting a little bit of a workout, about 5 to 10 miles per hour, blowing out toward right center field. And George Harrison smiling down upon us. Here comes the sun. The pitch just a bit outside, and it's 2-2. That was a very close pitch taken by Garuli. Again, Audrey out of Marietta, Georgia. They've had some problems up there with fires. The pitch is hit. That is a fair ball, and it was a fair ball. Garuli will turn first. She will get into second with a double. Tampa can argue that, but that was a fair ball. That was to the right of the chalk. That's a fair ball. Leslie Cantor might want to take a look at it, but okay, they're going to go take a look at it. So the umpires will not consult. They'll just go to the replay, which they should have done the first time. I think that was fair. Again, trying to be unbiased here. All right, we'll have another delay as we approach 3 o'clock Eastern time on the east coast of Florida. J.C. Miles, along with my wonderful executive producer, Jaden Fabrizio. Again, 6-1 on the baseball side. Florida Tech is losing to Tampa in the bottom of the 7th inning. And in men's lacrosse in the Sunshine State Conference Tournament Championship, tough day for the Panthers. They lose 18-7 to Tampa. So it's been a Tampa-Florida Tech weekend in 3 different sports. And so far, Florida Tech is coming up on the short end of the stick. Well, I would be surprised if that is overruled. That looked fair. And again, I've been kind of on the umpires today, but let me say this again. It's 2 umpire mechanics. That is the home plate umpire's call. And you're asking the home plate umpire to quickly kind of jut out and get a good view of that. And, I mean, that ball was smoked by Garuli. So if you're the umpire, you have to be out in like a quarter of a second and then make your assessment. So we are waiting for Jose Milicio, who is looking at the replay, to come out. And it's either going to be Garuli on second representing the tying run in a 9-8 deficit, or it's going to be Garuli still at the plate with nobody on base. And and we'll see what the count is. So they take it off the scoreboard, which we thought it was a double. All right, this is another biggie, folks. Let's see what it is. Okay, Garuli's going to get her double, and Niles going to get her chance to try and drive it in, or drive her in, and extend this game either to extra innings or maybe give Florida Tech a chance to win it. So Garuli with the double. For Audrey, that's her 3rd double of the year. So the tying run on at second for Niles, who is 1 for 3. The pitch is in for a called strike, and it's 0-1. You know, again, if you're Niles, if you had a chopper to the infield, she'd have a good chance to beat it out. So if you're Tampa, they're certainly aware of that. Then Niles can fly like the wind. Pitch is line foul, or if you want to change that to a Christopher Cross song, she kind of rides like the wind. Again, speaking of the wind, maybe about 5 miles an hour being blown out toward right center. All right, so 0-2 the count. The pitch is outside, and it's 1-2. And that was definitely outside. No argument on that. 1-2. So again, Niles is looking to put the ball into play and try and find a vacant spot. The 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Niles strikes out. The ball game is over, and Florida Tech loses a tough one as McGinnis gets non-consecutive strikeouts of Torito and Niles in the 7th inning with Garuli, the tying run, left on second base. So Tampa's won the series, and they will look for the 3-game sweep in game number 2, which will take place in about 35 or 40 minutes. Probably about 3:35 or 3:40 will be our start time for game number 2. Well, let's do a quick wrap-up of this one. Kind of the Cliff's Notes version of what is a 9-8 final. 3-run homer by Winters gave Tampa a 3-0 lead. before you could bat an eyelash, Florida Tech responded with 3 in their half of the first. 2-run homer by Schwartz, solo homer by Chisholm. And then Tampa didn't score again until the 4th. In the meantime, the second inning, Florida Tech scored 3 with a key hit, a 2 RBI single by Jillian Moeller. And the Panthers led 6-3. Tampa cut it to 6-4. Sacrifice fly by Johns in the 4th inning. Made it 6-4. Tampa would make it 6-5 as they scored a run in some fashion in the 5th inning to make it 6-5. That's when we had I think that was the crazy replay inning where I kind of lost track of things. And then Tampa took the lead on a 2-run homer by Kreidler in the 6th inning. But Florida Tech came back with a couple of runs in the 6th. RBI single by Chisholm, sacrifice fly by Ryder. But then Tampa won it with a run in the 7th inning. And they're able to score that run, and they win it by the score of 9-8. We'll have a further box, and I'll run down the line score. But we're gonna get out of here. Tampa is now 29-10 overall, and they are 16-7 in the SSC. And Florida Tech is 29-15 overall and 15-10 in the SSC. So now Tampa leads Florida Tech by 2 games in the standings for 3rd place. So Florida Tech really needs to win this next game to get that back to a 1-game deficit for 3rd. All right, I'm J.C. Meyerholtz. Thanks for tuning in. Again, stand close by, probably about a 35-minute break. And we'll be back for game number 2. Again, my executive producer doing a great job, Jaden Fabrizio. So we'll be back somewhere between 3:30 and 3:40. Again, Tampa wins it by the score of 9-8. We'll be back soon.